Well,
He was really difficult.
yeah, well, he texted me at like 6 o'clock tonight, I think it was Wednesday night.
Good morning.
I didn't have to tell you what's that. Sorry about that, but you can get, well, that's the way it's always been. Yeah, even on contract, that's the way it was.
Yeah, okay. You on? All right, welcome. We're going to call commission meeting to order today at February the 20th, 2024. Still feels weird to say. I want to say 23 still, but it is 24. Welcome everybody out there in the audience. Thanks for being here today. We're going to start the introduction on my left, if we will.
Stephanie Laws, Commission Secretary.
Brandon Yardley, Commissioner.
Ray Haunted, Commissioner.
Commissioner Tammy Pearson.
Bob Christensen, Attorney.
And we're going to excuse our clerk auditor Ginger today. She's not able to be here today, so we're going to excuse her. We're going to start with an opening prayer by Steph, and then a pledge of allegiance will be done by Heidi.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful that we can gather here today to talk about the needs of Beaver County. Please bless that we can have Holy Spirit to be with us in this meeting, and please bless that we continue to look over our county and make sure that we have the things that we need. We're thankful for the moisture and bless that we'll be able to receive more to sustain us. Again, we ask that thy Spirit to be with us, and we pray in this name, Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is the bills. I'll pass those out.
What page is it on?
Well, a couple of them are, like, I don't know why. I don't know who's going to answer the questions if they have it, but.
She said, Tracy, can if you have any.
Oh, thank you. There you go.
Yeah.
I wish you could. Every knuckle is every.
You have to slow them down like that.
Wow. So these ones will get reversed, they stay state.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's $15 right there, so that's.
drain cleaner bleach. $34 million worth. What are we doing with all that?
Well, I've heard it's a main ingredient in something.
We're gonna talk about that for a while, right here.
No, on the,
This is a surplus item that'll come later today.
that we're paying for? It's on the bill?
We traded one and got that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
like, what?
So did they not trade in the old one?
They did.
They, okay,
Traded in.
but we have to just still,
Yeah.
We
okay.
just have to approve the surplus. That's the propane,
Yeah.
right?
So if you find that, no. Yeah, just.
You can reverse the. Is the date on these ones? So whatever we change that first.
I think there was some of that, there was.
That calendar year, we
Yeah.
should change. Cause that says 12/01/23 on the invoice. Yeah, that was, you got last one?
I guess we'll give these back to you to get Ginger.
Here.
Here we go.
Yeah, give them to me.
On the 5 county stuff, does that pay for everything? Like the council on aging and has our cost share on, but is it council on aging separate?
I think they're separate.
So that would just be mental.
Hey, Steph, can you scroll to this?
I think they're all separate. I think they'll all have to go. It is not.
Can you scroll to it?
You know, what's the date at the top of that?
Because
February 9th.
that's how this is
Corey, there's 3 of them from, Milford City
No, just look at that.
on utilities. Oh, Steph,
What?
As far as Milford City, we should only have 2 bills to the road department,
that's what I,
both sheds. And one of them, the one up, the old state shed, that water bill will probably be higher because that's where we wash our sanders up. You know, so there's more usage up there.
so,
But they-
that one right there.
Yeah, that's got 3.
And they're all January of 24.
They're all the same amount. I mean, to my knowledge, there's only 2 water meters, one at each shed.
Okay, that's what I remembered, so.
So,
You want me to ask,
we ask Milford?
you want me to ask Ginger when she is back on that one? Okay.
Because I know the state road shed up there, when they did their water project a year or so ago, the old 2-inch line that was there that they washed their trucks out previously was never metered. And when they did that water project, they did the building in that 2-inch line under 1 meter. So they are now
So they
metering
should-
that 2-inch line.
But it should only be on 1 meter.
But it's still only 1 meter yet.
Okay.
To my knowledge, that's the way they set it up.
Huh? Yeah, that's kind of weird. Oh, no, that wouldn't be under class road. I was gonna say the building we've got down there on Foster.
The admin on,
Is that the Milford admin?
Right here.
there's one for $1.89, and I don't know what is $1.89.
Big spending.
Let's
Everything
keep
I
it
buy
at-
is way more than
Let's keep it
$1.89.
at that.
Well, even your Milford City bill's a minimum of $94,
Right.
you know, no matter what, that's your water
So
sewer.
now it's $95.84, I believe.
So, yeah, so, I would assume that third one is the admin building, but I could be wrong.
So that should go to admin instead of Class B roads?
I would think so.
Probably. Okay, that's what I was wondering. I will
Well,
talk to Ginger.
look at the number on them over there on the left.
What does that mean?
I don't know if that's.
Probably the account, right?
Or the meter number or something. I don't know. It'd be a
Is that
question,
where-
it'd be a question.
Is that the
for
fairgrounds,
Sarah.
the fairgrounds from Asheville?
Yeah, sounds fairgrounds.
And I think you guys, the Vista works for, it's like a January change.
Okay.
So is that, Sunrise Engineering, is that our master plan?
Yes. This one, Sheila Shotwell has quite a bit of mileage for reimbursement for. If there's a vehicle with
Yeah, the little cart.
the little cars here, can she use that? So she just needs to check with you, so.
Yeah.
I think the fall states are supposed to try to use the vehicle
Yeah,
first.
but I don't think she knows that, nobody's actually ever told her that. But sometimes she does food deliveries too. Does anybody ever use that car?
Uh-huh. Yeah, we've got, the CJC uses it quite a bit, which is good. And then, the extension office, there's probably the two that use it the most.
But how often?
Tracy uses it quite a bit to go to Greenwich, and unless there's a Jeep available and it's
So
snowing.
is that
something
like
that.
twice a week?
It's about every other week, and then she uses, you know, if it's snowing, if there's not a Jeep available, she'll take hers and get just for half reimbursement, because she doesn't want to take that little one.
In the snow,
Yeah.
which I understand,
Yeah.
that's okay. I'll talk to Sheila and tell her if that car's available, and have her review that. I know she runs to Milford at least once a
At
week.
least once a week.
So I'll check with Sheila.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. That was all my questions.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, sir.
We'll wait.
Delineator posts. I'm done.
Okay. No other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the bills.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make unanimous, thank you. Come on up, Corey, Kevin. How are you guys today? Good. Good. February's nearly flown by, it's gonna be spring before you know it.
Is any luck over the spring?
Yeah.
You need to go straight to
We've had-
summer or
I'm
what?
ready for spring.
We've had
So am
spring
I,
all
I'm ready for
winter,
spring too.
especially compared to last year. It's been
That's why I
spring
keep
all
telling you,
winter.
there's no snow to push, so.
When there's snow in the forecast, I hate it, I'll be honest. The older I get, the more snow I hate.
Same.
Is there snow?
Not this week, frozen mix, well, up to Beaver, we'll get some at North Creek, we always do, but frozen mix is what they call it for now.
So just icy and slip.
But I could definitely go for 65 plus.
I
Me too, I'm ready for it.
I'm not ready to start farming and all the lawn and shit.
Well,
My Daffy will do all this pumping.
All right, Corey, it's your, go ahead.
Okay, while Kevin's here, just a quick update. Kevin's been working on an app for the road department. Keep track of all our signs.
Assets.
Yeah, signs, culverts, cattle guards.
Really? Mapping it all out for you?
He set up the app. Now I've got Chad Wonderditch running around. We have to
Mark them.
get all that information and put it on the app.
Nice.
Chad's been doing that actively for the last 3 or 4 days. 3 or 4 working days anyway. Working out really well. And then
What's the app?
it's called, ArcGIS is the,
We use a GIS platform for them to go out and map, so.
Like, is it an app that we can download and put on our phones, or no? Or is it just for you?
I have to give you permission.
Right.
Okay, so
You can't just download the app, you have to be signed into our administration and be given permission to utilize the forms that we've created,
Gotcha, right.
so.
So we just need to instruct you to give us permission.
Yeah, $110 a piece, just to look at it.
Really?
For his guys, we've only got one guy signed on right now, but it's $385 a person
Wow.
to be a mobile,
Per year?
yeah.
Wow.
we're just gonna use one generic, everybody will sign into the one.
Right.
And then, in addition to this, we'll also have, be able to collect all our roads and all our maintenance.
So you'll be on the log when you grade the road?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So it'll.
Grade, chip.
It'll help you for tracking and management.
Yes.
Yeah, we're creating a dashboard for him to go in, and he can look at everything that he's got, he can make assignments, he can check requests.
Do we have GPS on the trucks and stuff, and graders? No.
That, just the GPS on the phone. If we needed higher accuracy, we could get an external GPS antenna and more, set up on a truck or something like that, but for what we're doing, we don't need that high accuracy.
So, part of this started, our mapping for our roads started, we have to submit that to the state for our Class B money. We need to start showing them what we're doing. So, that was part of this, and then, we don't know what we have for signs, where we have them, you drive by them and you see them, but actually, the amount we have, we needed some way to track everything, and maintenance.
Inventory.
Yeah, inventory, maintenance, a lot of things like that, so.
When they log in that sign, they actually take a picture of the sign, so we have a full inventory of the condition of everything. Like I said, on this dashboard that it creates, it tells him how many signs need to be repaired and how many need to be replaced that we've inventoried.
Well, I've seen a lot with the vinyl peeling off of them, like
Oh, yeah,
the
there's-
cows peeling off or whatever's on it, I've seen that.
Yeah, I don't remember, I think I put 10,000 into signs this year, and I've already exceeded that. And it's February, so.
Wow.
But delineators is a huge share of that, but
Yeah.
we moved into a different direction on our delineators to try to help with the cattle from ruining them, so hopefully that changes.
Those flexible ones,
Yeah.
they
They're
seem to
not-
hold up better.
So far, we've had good luck.
Except for sometimes the snow guys take them out, I've seen that, unless it's just people sliding off the road, taking them out.
Well, there was a time where we had, I don't know, I assumed somebody was just hitting them because there was too many to just be somebody's, yes, yeah.
They were lined up on them and just.
Yeah, you'd have
There's no wild kid driving around out there anywhere, is there?
the Minersville kids, I think, ain't it?
None of I have none of mine are so kids, but they are, can't blame them, they can. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not sure I'd like to be in charge of the, I don't know what they call them, but the turning ones into the creamery.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're
Yeah.
replacing them every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a very good design there.
So that's our app that Kevin's been working on, it's gonna be real helpful.
And Sandy has been instrumental in making that happen. I mean, it was above my technology capacity, but together we're.
Okay, one quick question, I don't mean to derail the train, but, I noticed, and I know not everybody loves Onyx, but I like Onyx just to look at stuff. But in Miller County, they have every single road named and numbered. Not named, just numbered. So if they're the RS 2477, they got everything. Do we have the same thing?
Yeah, but our Onyx only requests our parcel data. So why they have it for Miller County, I have no idea.
Well, and I don't even know for sure that it was even on Onyx. I might have been on a different kind of map.
But
But,
we have county numbering system for all our roads.
so we have
we do
every road number.
Yeah.
Because I know on that RS 2477 fight, you know, that we're in, and then on funding, whatever from the state, DC, no funds, that kind of stuff, we need to make sure we've got those on.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, all right.
And that's part of our mapping system, when we map our roads and our maintenance, so that we can submit all that information.
You'll have all of that, okay,
Where we haven't had that previously, so.
okay,
It'll be a big help for us.
yeah.
It's a learning curve though. Kevin's been a big help, and I'm still learning, and he's taught me about 4 times now, and I'm still questioning.
You gotta keep doing refresh
Yeah.
course.
So, next, I wanted to talk about, before I get too far in, I'm going to an asphalt conference next week. I've been attending it the last 3 years, very beneficial for us. And then we have that UAC conference in April
Richfield.
in Ridgefield. So, and it sounds like we'll have a big part of that. Bob at Sevier County asked me to help with some of the classes, whether it's teaching or just something. He asked if I would help on the mag chloride side, so we'll be pretty heavily involved in there.
Good, good. Is it worth going to?
Like I talked to Brian on the phone, it is worth going to if we, last year was kind of a flop, but we had storms and so we didn't have a lot of attendance.
Nobody had time.
I think we need to get it, so 20 years ago, they had road school that was brought on by the, leagues of cities and towns, and that was really good. We had a lot of vendors and we had a lot of good classes. We needed to go try to get them people that were doing them classes to come back. I did it when I worked for the city, and it was
Well,
always.
and I think, this is what I told Brian, I think the key is getting you guys involved.
Yep.
For what you need, what you want, what you expect, you know, because I know when you guys went to Vernal, it was fun.
Yeah,
And I think
well, and Vernal had good classes
And
too.
Vernal had good classes, but they were focusing a little bit, they need to focus on what you need. And we don't need to have meetings, just have meetings.
Yes.
It needs to be worth your
And that's the same conversation I had with him
Okay,
2 weeks
good.
ago.
Good.
I sent him a list on the things that I would like to see, or that I thought would be beneficial. I know Bob at Sevier County's been really instrumental this year, where it's in Sevier County, he wants to see it continue, as we all do, because
Well, it should
there's
be a
no-
training opportunity.
and then there's none real available for us. That
Right.
asphalt conference, there's a little bit there, but a lot of it is more of the new products out and the way they're using them. So
Right.
for me, it's beneficial, but to take all them guys, I don't know how it could be, but I think it could be, but it's really not, I don't know.
So are they, let me ask you another question. These are just conversations that I get in the middle of, but, the Vernal bunch and their wax products, part of the asphalt, is a different mix. Have you looked at that?
The chemical,
I can't think what it's called either. No one I'm thinking about, but it's some sort of a byproduct, but instead of the oily, it's more of a waxy. And they think that it's more flexible in the winter. I don't know. I can't remember what they called it. but-
so it's all still kind of new, and I've
Yeah.
been on a little bit of them, but I'm hoping to see, I didn't really want to be the one that invented the wheel here.
Right.
I was hoping somebody else would try it, because I wasn't sold completely on it. I'd like to see more of it,
Well, I
see
think
it.
the Roku's been using it in Dewitt and Duchesne,
Yes,
and they got hard winters, I mean.
and a lot of it's really expensive, that's
Is that the thing?
it's the big thing. So before, I wanted to see what it would do, give it a year or two of people
See
using
what
it
the
before we,
Endurance, yeah,
Yeah.
what that,
But they're also the same company that tells us that mag chloride only lasts you 6 weeks, where I get 8, 9 months out of it pretty easily, you know what I mean? So,
I think mag chloride is worth its weight in gold.
that's their argument, right? That's why their product is better, and I completely disagree, so I've been waiting to see, I'm not completely sold on it.
You want to see the proof.
Right.
Let somebody else do the test plot.
Right, yeah, because it is, I mean, it's not just, mag chloride's fairly simple, fairly cheap
Right.
per mile, where this is gonna be quite a bit
It's
of
a lot
money.
easier to apply.
Yes, this product, you have to actually bring in a rotomill machine, and they want it mixed in the middle of the road, not just applied on the top, right? So,
Oh,
I mean,
really?
we're $50,000 just to rent the machine to dig up the road, the rotomill machine.
So that's the application process.
Yes, and it's over like a 3-day period, where mag chloride in 3 days, we have half a mill for flat done, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
to me, it's a lot more money and a lot more time consuming, but if it works, then, you know, your return on investment, I guess, is better, but I don't know that I wanna take that chance until I see what everybody's
Well,
doing,
and I
see how
think,
it's working.
you know, it's just like some of, they have the vendors come to all of this stuff, so you just wanna be able to compare products and see what,
Yeah.
you know, so I think it should be everybody there.
And so far, the only people using it are them people up there in Uinta County or Wasatch County, whoever's using it. And I'm in a close relationship with all our local county supervisors, and everybody's kind of got the same ideas as me, and nobody's willing to. These guys have been around there's multiple companies that's kind of doing the same product, the same chemical. I don't know, they've been around for 5 or 6 years, and I don't know. Still not sold on it.
Right.
I wanna see, but like I said, the people using it are up there, but nobody around here dares. They all got the same idea.
Well, then you gotta pay for shipping on
Yeah,
top of that,
yep.
delivery.
It just seems extremely expensive for what you get out of it, to me. We can spend a lot less money and get just as much, in my opinion, so. And proven, right, the mag chloride's been proven its worth, so.
We know what it does.
Yeah, so I'm not convinced to take the leap and spend that extra money to get the same product, or to get the same result, so.
But if there is a new, better product out there, we wanna keep that network.
Oh, absolutely.
Open to you, so that you can find out.
Yeah.
Use it if it's the right thing, so.
Yep. So that, we'll just start with the next thing, mag chloride. Mag chloride's gone up about $10 a ton this year compared to last year, which, that's, with the amount we put out, that's about $4,000 roughly more than, if we put out the same amount as we did last year, it's roughly about $4,000. I printed maps right here for you guys to see. Kevin printed maps, I printed.
He's good at that.
So here, this is, Milford, the Valley, Minersville, and then Beaver. And we was, with that amount you see, we was about $40,000 last year.
Most everything else goes to oil, though, right?
Yes, that is the dirt that we mag right there. Or I should say the dirt we bagged last year. That is nothing in addition to this year at all.
Can we increase that mag chloride budget to?
50, right? 50 or 55,
I think it was 55.
it could be, I think I have that.
So we've got a little more we can grow, we just need to make sure we grow in the right area.
And so, that's one thing I kinda wanted to bring up, if there's places we wanted to add to the plan, I'm totally fine with it. I feel that we need to do it, try to do it as strategic as possible, just because I get phone calls every day, everybody wants their driveway done, right? Everybody wants theirs done, so I think collectively, we just need to do it, put a plan together strategically.
On those maps, you'll notice the big heavy black line, that would be a chip seal or an asphalt road. And then if you got the 2 little thin black lines, those are the dirt roads that are graded. So if you're mag chloriding anything, it's gonna be those dirt roads.
And yes, we did 55 is what we raised it to, I just looked.
Okay.
So roughly $20,000.
But we're gonna use about 4 in the product.
Yes.
So, we got about 15 then, okay.
Yep.
And Corey, we've had this conversation in the past of, like, mag chloride is more of a maintenance use than a dust control. And it does work very good for dust control, and I think we can use it for both, I agree. We just need to make sure if we do some up here in the neighborhoods or around neighborhoods, like we've gotta have a spot where we wanna go with it and then be willing to help him with the phone calls when the phone calls start coming in, why didn't mine get done?
Right. Well, I know that at the fairgrounds, that's been wonderful.
Yes, and we'll get to that in a minute, but my chip seal program this year,
That's on.
that's on
schedule
those,
for
yes.
this year.
Okay. I'd like to add too, so little background, 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago now, when I started mag chloride, I started out on the bean farm. We was maintaining that every 3 weeks, we was needing to send a grader out there to blade it. That's where we started with mag chloride, so we was every 3 weeks with the grader all summer long. When we initially started that, I put down 3 inches of twin mount material and I mag chlorided it. We didn't touch it for almost 10 months. So that was in, it was early March, it was the end of December when we had to go back, and it was almost frozen, we couldn't really do a lot with it, but we went 10 months with 0 maintenance. So, that's the reason we started mag chloride, was because of, for maintenance purposes, it was hard to send a guy out there every 2 to 3 weeks for 2 days to fix it, so. And obviously, we've moved into, different areas, but that was when we initially first started.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, I didn't realize that you had chloride that road west of Minor, so.
Oh, the one to Holland's Dairy there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason
Just because of the traffic?
Well, yes, 2 things. So initially, the first year we did it because of the traffic. It's a short section, but it was getting beat up like crazy, so.
The
Yes.
material there is not good.
And so,
Good material.
in moving in the last couple of years, we continue to do it because that's one that I'm gonna double chip seal. You've got 500 yards of dirt in between a section of oil, so it's
Right.
kinda.
Most of it's in really the shape, it's just that one little
Yes,
section.
so we're gonna double chip that this year, and that's why we continue to mag chloride that.
That's the one that is the road that comes into your dairy.
Off the thermal road.
Oh, right there, yeah.
So that one is on your double chip seal
Yes.
slant?
That one, the fairgrounds.
Or this year, or?
Yes, this
Oh,
spring,
year,
yeah,
okay.
this spring was, so it was initially planned last year, but with our wet weather clearing the May, and we just couldn't get to it. And I'd like to do that chip seal as early as possible, to give it the summer to work in, and we just couldn't get to it, and I didn't dare do it in August, so
Right.
we decided to wait till this year. So there's that one, there's the fairgrounds we just talked about, and then, yeah, to the first cattle guard, so right there at Todd Marshall's feed yard, there's a cattle guard. So again, you got another section that's heavily traveled, and we can do it to the cattle guard this year, and then in the future, it's a good stopping point, right?
Yeah.
They blade for 500 yards, and then they have to pick up and go over cattle guard, so I'd like to end that oil there, if I could.
So you're gonna try and chip seal that right there too?
Yes, if I can get the property owner to not turn his pivot on and ruin it. Or fix it, or do something. They water the road right there too, so there's gonna be some conversation still, but yeah.
How's the road watering of the bean farm, is it okay?
It's still there. It depends. Sometimes you think it's good, the next time you drive up there, it's hanging over the road again, so.
Depends on which way the wind blows too.
Yeah,
Yep.
Some are okay, but unfortunately.
What road is this one?
well, if you need us to have a conversation, Commissioner Hollingshead will provide.
I can't figure
So there's a few places that are down on that, Utopia Road in Minersville. There's the one there at the Bean Farm, and then there's a couple down on Milford Flat.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with Brandon on one of them on the Milford Flat.
It wasn't me, by the way. Wasn't my feeling, although everyone's probably guilty of that.
What's the road out here?
South Creek.
South Creek Road.
Oh, is it South Creek Road near McElroy?
So we go from the end of the oil past that house. That was one that Commissioner Dalton asked us to do when he was here. And I've only done it every other year. But I did it last year.
No, okay, that is the South Creek Road, isn't it?
I don't remember the name of the family that lives there, honestly, I can't remember.
Some more wood?
Morewood, yes, that's it. That was a,
But you do that one every other year.
I have done it every other year.
So if we do your double chip seal, are you gonna add more McElroy roads?
This year?
Yeah, like additional roads that you're not McElroy.
We could add some, right?
Or in the future.
So we added money so we could add some, but I still need to mag chloride and double chip seal in front of the double chip
Before,
seal.
yeah, yeah,
So technically this year you won't be cutting any out,
right.
right?
So
But
you'll
in next,
McElroy them first, and then you'll chip seal them later.
yeah,
with
and
the-
then next year we will not have to worry about them, that's correct, yeah. So there is some money to add some, but again, I just,
But not till next year.
well, we can add some this year.
We've got about 15,000 we can add.
But we need to do it, I just ask that we do it
You ever raised your
strategically.
hand, is he?
Huh?
Are you raising your hand?
Just point.
He knows the road, he knows the road that
We're
needs to be
back
done.
480 my road.
Kevin asked what we did up there where the section where the start and stop of the NICA course.
Oh.
Oh, that's his road.
Not where he lives, just where he plays. I don't even know if he plays there, but he.
We have
Kevin's
that.
name's on that road, he asked that we mag chloride.
Yeah, did we name it the Kevin Wicker Road? Oh, are we going
It's
to?
numbered, right? It's numbered though,
I
right?
think we should.
What's
I
the
think we
number?
should.
What's the number of the road?
Let's call it Wicker Lane, I like that.
Wicker Lane.
Hey,
Wicker Lane.
hey, we can override that.
I
We
don't-
can make a motion and do that. I think we really should
Yeah,
put that on our agenda for next.
I don't want the road. I'm just claiming the use of it.
There's that road, and there's the road
Bike
that,
trail.
off,
Sorry, I didn't hear you, go ahead.
there's the road that leads off, that, you know, on the other side where all the houses are that come up from the dirt and the oil down to that
Yeah.
Airbnb. That
So,
section.
so I know that there's been people up there that want it, but there's also people that don't, so I feel before we do that, we need to get them together and, I mean, because you're gonna make one happy and make two mad, and, you know what I mean, or, what are we doing up there, I guess, you know what I mean? To make one happy, we're making two mad, so to me, collectively, they need to decide, I would say, before we spend the money. That's my opinion, I don't know what your guys' opinion are. But again, like I said, I just ask that we do this strategically, because my phone blows up.
Do you have a strategic plan, kind of?
So to me, there's,
I mean, what is our strategic plan, I guess?
that's something that we need to discuss or decide.
Yeah, what
Right.
did Sunrise tell us we're supposed to be doing?
I mean, what is, I mean, why do we go to one place, not to another place? Is there reasons behind that? Is there?
There is reasons behind that, a lot of it is, okay, back to my maintenance speech a minute ago. Mine's always been maintenance, but it's worked into dust control and favors, and I feel that we continue to do favors, we're just, it's a snowball effect, we're creating a bigger
Right,
problem than we
right.
already started.
Right,
And so, to me, it goes back to maintenance,
okay.
if that's where, that's where it benefits me or helps me, right?
Right.
The dust control really doesn't matter to me as far as the road supervisor, so,
So you probably have picked out priority roads for maintenance that you'd like to do.
and I've talked to Brandon about a few of them. I shouldn't say a lot, there's a few on the Milford Flat that aren't so much maintenance, they are dust control. And again, probably a lot were favors back in the day that we've continued to do. So we've talked a little bit about maybe doing them every other year, or just doing a half an application, or there's ways to maybe cut that back a little bit.
Okay.
But as far as taking new on, I think that's maybe something we need to sit down collectively, or Brandon and I, however you wanna do that, and put a more of a strategic plan together. That's my opinion, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are.
Yeah. I think that's
I don't
good.
disagree.
Yeah.
Mag chloride's always been a tough one for me, because again, I do it for maintenance, but, you get a lot of people that build out in the outlying areas that are dirt roads, and once they build there, they decide they don't like the dust. So we've done mag chloride in places, so I demand mag chloride on my place, but I only want it in front of my house. I don't want it for the first half mile, because I don't wanna drive through it, right? I get that a lot.
We've heard plenty of that.
And so, I just say strategic is, and it's something that when we do plan, I think we have to stand by and.
That's what I would say, let's just create a plan that we can follow and you can stand by it
Yeah.
too, and not have to.
I know that south side road, you know, we call it south side, out to the geothermal, out to dirt, whatever. But when you guys put that new you know, the new gravel.
Gravel.
That's helped a lot.
Yes.
That's helped a lot. But then it stops, and then the rest of the road.
So that's another thing too, is, so in the past, maintenance, you didn't have the material, so you put mag chloride, it takes your crappy material and holds it together. Well, we've also started graveling a lot more.
Right.
Well, the gravel, we do it once, we pay for it once, and it lasts us for X amount of years, we don't have to do mag chloride.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
but you still have a dust problem, just not as much, but you're spending a lot less money and getting more time out of it.
Yeah.
So,
This winter's been a perfect example, he's hauled a lot of gravel this last month.
yeah.
Just in case don't push, so.
Yeah, and Milford, we've hauled gravel since the Christmas break, pretty much nonstop, with the exception of 3 or 4 days, here and there, in Milford Flat.
And the roads are in a lot better shape with the new gravel.
Yep.
Well, that material is a lot better.
It is, it's really.
And it's the material we're crushing out here, and so as far as mag chloride, I think we can, it's not that I don't wanna do it right, it's more of, I think we can eat a lot of our problem by putting good product down, and then waiting a year and deciding if mag chloride is needed at that area,
Yeah.
right? And every area is different, every road has different material, until we get everything with this good material. There's still gonna be them places, there's one section that's south of Milford, and we call it the back road, west of the tracks is what we call it, but it's the back road from the back crossing into Milford City. Milford City has a small portion of that, which I have them bill them accordingly to pay for it. But we mag chloride that, but that's got a different material.
Right.
So I think in that plan, or in that strategic meeting, however you wanna do it, I think the conversation with gravel should be involved in a little bit also,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Okay, and that's my discussion with mag chloride. If you have any questions.
We'll stay in touch with you, we'll talk a little and see if we can
I
find
think,
some
I
roads
think
we
we
need
need
to
to do
do.
your planning, Beaver, think it has to be all three of us.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But,
How can we blame Commissioner Holland's head if we don't invite him?
Yeah.
Remember for you guys, if you'd like to keep them,
oh,
you wanna
okay.
keep them?
Well, you'll think, Brandon.
If I need more, I know where to get them.
Here's the deal.
And then, so the next part, the discussion is our chip seal schedule. I'm planning to chip seal all of the M&M Road, so there's 12.5 miles there, all of North Creek and North Creek Loop. And there's 8.5 miles there. In doing so, I've been having Boyd Spencer do our crack seal, and I budgeted for, I think, 8,000, I can't remember. But I'm not got the M&M Road done, and I've already exceeded that. There's a heck of a lot more cracks than I anticipated. So hopefully our oil numbers come in lower, and we're not
They
over
were
budget.
last year?
Yeah, we're not over budget.
Aren't they a little lower this year?
So I haven't got bids back yet, but the discussion I've had with them, 2 of the guys said probably where we're at last year, maybe a little lower, but they didn't have our numbers, we wasn't it was just a mere conversation a couple weeks ago, so I'm hoping that they are. Till we get them back, I don't know. Everybody seems pretty excited and pretty gung-ho, so.
Yeah. Are you fully staffed now again?
Yes, that was gonna be after chip seal. I am finally fully staffed. We've got a pretty good crew. Been quite impressed with our new hires. Cole Gillis took over the weeds. I've been really impressed with him. He's actually going with Kevin today to weed meetings in South Provo, Salt Lake. Yeah, it's been good so far. We had our first weed board meeting last Thursday. Commissioner Garlick was with us. I think we're moving in the right direction. I feel pretty comfortable so far. What, your thoughts, Kevin?
I've been impressed with him, so for sure.
Yeah, a lot of good things coming, and I think it's gonna be a learning curve for all of us. Primarily me, just being involved now, it's gonna be quite a learning curve, but I think we're gonna be in good shape. So, there's been a lot of question about whether we need a second to help him, but, I think we crossed that bridge.
I mentioned him, you know, get 1 year under your belt, so you know what's going on, before you try and tackle directing somebody else.
Oh, I 100%.
Well, and I think he needs to get acquainted with everything that he has to do, his task at hand, and then we'll see where he's at. You know, if he needs help later on, but cross that bridge later.
Well, I think the pre-emergent stuff is critical. You can do a lot of that, can you?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the plan we kind of talked
Yeah,
about
we
is
do that
after
early in the year, and we can even do some of it in the fall, like spraying those filter flat roads and stuff like that. You can do fall spraying of
Yeah.
pre-emergence and dealing with the county, facilities. That's usually pre-emergent stuff out of the prison and other places. Once he gets into the heart of the actual noxious weed spraying, he's gonna be overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah,
But-
guaranteed. But that's why I'm saying, you pre-emergent, you do it not during the.
No, you don't do that.
season. You can get all that stuff done, that saves you a lot of time down in the heat months when the weeds are growing.
And the plan is, I believe, to start in the next week or so. When you guys get back, we're gonna put a plan in place of what they're purchasing and get started on some of that.
I put mine on in my yards, the end of last week, so it's time for
I wish I
pre-emergent.
was home. That's what I was thinking too, because I should have had mine done last week.
Yeah, we did the hay barns and all that stuff last week, so I know Colt's planning on it as soon as he gets home from school. He just wanted to see what the best products were, and then he'll get going on the pre-emergent stuff.
Yeah, good.
Well, he'll be busy from here on out,
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
all the way till fall, which is good.
And it's actually been pretty good. He's helped the Beaver crew with snow plowing. You know, with the, obviously, we haven't had a lot of snow this year, but it's cut their plowing times down from 5 and 6 hours to 2 and 3, and they're home, so that's been good.
Good.
So, anything else on chip sealing or anything? No? Okay, pretty self-explanatory. Milford City's not doing any chip sealing this year. They're actually gonna take their money that they've had planned this year, and they're gonna spend money on crack sealing. They actually asked me to sit in and help them with their planning moving forward with the roads. And in that meeting, we plan to take their money this year and put it into some other products to try to help with their chip seal. They're not getting ahead of the game, they're kind of going backwards, so they're doing that. And they're gonna take the rest of their money and put it into their industrial park. They got a grant for that industrial park. And I actually volunteered to help do some of that, help with their in-kind money. Not gonna be a huge job.
To fix that road.
Yeah, looking at their in-kind money, it was a lot of money, but, I mean, we're probably looking at 2 days with a couple of guys, and I can have it done, so. Helping big, really, so.
Yeah, that's a good partnership.
So, and then, along with helping them with their planning moving forward, we had a good meeting the other day, so.
Good.
I think that's pretty much about it, unless you have questions for me.
Do you have a second to talk about the road to the industrial park, the Beaver Industrial Park?
Yes, let's
That's
discuss.
actually why I'm here.
Okay, perfect.
Stephanie, you wanna pull that map up? Brandon asked me to look into this. When UDOT, so this is a UDOT, plan of development, or a, survey plan for their I-15 corridor. And I pulled this up and we got looking at it, because when Jones and DeMille did their thing for Beaver City, they left a lot of stuff out. The frontage road is actually part of I-15's right of way.
Right.
They are considering putting a wider paved road through there,
Who's considering, you don't?
Beaver City.
Beaver City.
They want to put in a 56-foot road out there. Well, that takes in the 30-foot of frontage road that is UDOT's. Brandon asked me about deeding that to them to let them take care of it. Well, we don't own that, that's not our right of way, we just maintain it. So I think at some point in time, Beaver County and UDOT entered into some agreement for us to maintain the frontage road, because that is in their right of way. They don't maintain those roads, so we agreed to do that at some point, I guess. Long before my time and Corey's time, so we don't know. We
can't
do a lot of digging.
anyway.
But it belongs to UDOT, so if Beaver City wants to pave that, that's between them and UDOT.
Okay.
The subdivision, they did not include those roads, include a 56-foot road when they designed the subdivision. So now they're looking at having to go through and either get a right-of-way from the landowners or purchase it back from them after they've already bought it and started their plan. So there's a whole mess there for them to deal with. As far as us, we're
gonna wash our hands.
we're washing our hands with that.
So,
If
is
they
that-
wanna go through there and put a 56-foot 56-foot wide asphalt road, that's all on them and UDOT, between them and UDOT,
So is that a conversation that's been had with Beaver City? Okay.
But
That's
the background of it, we're coming from.
myself.
Oh, they approached you.
So, when they did their subdivision in this new feller's building out there, they've been putting money into, they wanted a new cattle guard out there, there's a few things they want. They're actually paying for a cattle guard on that road, which we are installing for them, which in the past, what we thought was our jurisdiction, our part of the road is where this cattle guard's going. Their line, which what we thought was their jurisdiction is a couple hundred yards north of there.
Yeah, the Beaver City boundary comes across the freeway at that township line, and then they go along the edge of the right-of-way there, which is the private property line.
And the cattle guard, I believe, is on that 40-acre
It
line.
would be, let's go down.
Wherever that-
Maybe up here.
There's that
Probably
cattle,
that 40-acre line.
I believe that's where it's at.
That's where the cattle guard's gonna go?
Yeah, and so in this discussion with the cattle guard, Jason had mentioned that they eventually would like to have asphalt through
Have you
there.
give Kevin the mouse?
Show us where you're talking, for sure.
I see your
So can
40-acre
we-
line and I can see your township line, but, so this, to the right is north, right?
To the right is north,
Yes.
that's correct.
So the diagonal lines, is that like
Okay.
the bar ditch part off of the freeway?
So that is
This
a
right here?
drainage, a UDOT right away for the
No.
drainage.
Where's the freeway?
Freeway's right here.
Oh, that is
That's
the
the
freeway.
freeway.
Yeah, and then you got the 30-acre, or the 30-foot
Oh, okay.
frontage road right here along this edge.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I was
This is the
totally
township
confused.
line that goes across, and this is where Beaver City's limits come across, and then they go down the edge of this right-of-way.
So zoom
And then they
in
walk
on
up.
that then, because just looking at that, that didn't make any sense at all to us. There's your frontage road.
Okay, there's your frontage road. Beaver City limit comes across on the section line, and then goes down the edge of the right-of-way where the private land starts. And then this
Cattle guard
40-acre
is-
line we're assuming is right here.
And that's
Because that
where
would be
cattle
the
guard-
end of the
Industrial park.
industrial park. I'm trying to say subdivision, but, yeah.
So the entire frontage road, the whole width of the frontage road is still UDOT?
It's all UDOT, yes, all the way along this side of the freeway out so far, probably to where it crosses under the freeway is all UDOT right of way.
Which we thought was Beaver County's,
We
because we
maintain,
maintained it.
Oh, heavens.
Well, good thing we didn't make any handshakes or verbal
No,
agreements.
no, that's,
good to find out.
so are we okay putting that cattle guard in? I guess we still maintain
As
the
long as
roads.
we're maintaining the road, we're.
We're fine doing that, okay.
But again, that's
So they didn't have a conversation with UDOT.
Yes, but we also, Beaver City needs to be aware that it is
There-
not ours, it is you,
I
it is UDOT.
had this conversation with Steve Wolte. He contacted Jason Brown to let him know about this.
Just recently?
Yeah,
Oh.
that was last week, when I actually brought
Oh, all right.
Steve in to talk about this issue, and he's like, oh, I need to talk to Jason Brown about this and let him know. So hopefully they're getting that information.
Okay.
Okay. I'll check with Jason and make sure it was relayed to him. Okay.
So back to the conversation with the cattle guard, Jason had mentioned at some point they wanted asphalt through there. And in that time, more I thought about it, I went to Brandon, that's not their road. It was, at the time, we thought was our road, and they want it asphalted. Beaver County was gonna be pressured to asphalt it when we get no use out of it because it's within their industrial park, right? That's why I went to Brandon saying, why do we even have this? This should be theirs. They simply didn't add it into their annexation, so they didn't have to maintain it, I don't know. So that was when we said, well, let's give it to Beaver City. That's where conversation Kevin come in and found all this out.
So we can't give it away, it's not ours, so.
So way to do your homework.
Thanks, Kevin.
Good
Yeah,
job.
let's don't give it away.
Good job.
But then again, we shouldn't be asphalted either.
No.
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 And now
Absolutely not.
we
Now going
completely
down.
wash our hands of it,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Agreed.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Al, you're not going anywhere real quick, right? We
Nope.
have a Highway 357 Manfield bid award announcement.
Yep.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
This is it here?
So this is the notice of award. That is the notice of award that you have to, that you are asked to sign now. Did you guys did you print these off? Okay. We can kind of look at them. You'll notice that Sunrock was the cheapest, substantially cheaper than most of them.
Yeah.
We were getting a little nervous.
Yeah, the first three that we opened were the bottom three there.
No.
4 million? 4.9?
Yeah. 5 on the one that was.
How many miles is this?
Just over 8, I believe. So our match, or our portion of this is only 1.8.
Right.
Because we had that funding.
The federal highway money that I applied for 5 years ago.
So it maybe, I was telling these guys about this, can't we only do that like every 5 years?
So we
Or
can,
3 to 5 years that we can apply for it? 'Cause
well, it's funded every year, but you can apply every year, but chances are you're not gonna get funded
Every year.
every year, right,
They're
yeah.
gonna share
They're
it.
gonna rotate it here.
Yeah, and there's stipulations like.
And it's a cost share too.
Yes, it's a cost share every year, and there's stipulations like this money right here, it has to be a major collector
Right.
road.
Right.
I wanted to apply for this money 2 years ago when Commissioner Whitney was here. We wanted to apply for this money for the Roundhouse Road in Milford.
Yeah.
That's the next one kind of on our list. Between that one and Greenville, it's our next one we need to update. Farm equipment and vehicle traffic and things like that, our 19-foot roads they're not adequate anymore, right? But the Roundhouse Road is not a major collector, so I applied to have it changed to a major collector. I haven't heard back if they approve that or not, so.
Who makes that decision?
So the state of Utah would, in our planning, so a part of our general plan and our travel master plan, I think we can change it at that point, I'm hoping so. But each county can only have so many major collectors, and you have to have so many minor collectors to go with that major collectors, and so we're gonna have to trade them around. And so one of my thoughts was the Thermal Road's a major collector.
Right.
You're gonna have less traffic on it now, maybe taking it down to a minor and being able to take the Roundhouse Road up to a major collector. So there is avenues, I think, it's just gonna be a lot of paperwork and decisions.
Thought process.
Yeah, and decisions up north that are gonna be.
But we have to justify it for them to make the right decision.
Yes, and I did a traffic count on, because you have to have traffic counts and everything like that. I did a traffic count when I sent it in to apply to have it changed. Like I said, I haven't heard nothing back.
Okay.
So,
So the award goes to Sunrock, I
yes,
assume, right?
Yep.
Council, have you seen this?
and we asked Lyndon to go through the bids after Wednesday, after we did them, to make sure everything was
Appropriate?
appropriate where it needed to be.
And they're apples, and
Yep.
Beaver and all that stuff, so.
Yep.
He actually did another one he sent right here.
So this one, it will be our actual, this is our cost, or where we're gonna be at with the costs.
1.8.
So that's half.
So we was approved for the 127, that's all we were approved for, a couple years ago, actually.
Uh-huh,
But in them 3 years, costs have doubled and tripled in things, and so
right.
we thought for $2 million, we could do the job, and now we're at 3.5 based on
Okay.
cost this year, and that's where we had to come up with the 1.8.
Okay.
Any other questions? Probably need to have a motion to accept that bid of Sunrock. 3.389605.
I'll make a motion, we approve the bid from Sunrock for the Vanderbilt Highway.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
And a little thing to add, in our conversation with Sunrock, and Commissioner Yardley was there, we're looking at being done July 1.
Really? They haven't done that fast?
That's, if everything will go as smoothly as they think, they've got another big job that's slated for the middle of July, so they would like to be completed before they went there, so,
That'd be great.
which is pretty exciting, so.
So where's our beginning and end? Remind me.
So it's north of the county shed, who's the house that lives there? It's a house that, it's all on that Mansfield Road, but kind of sits on an angle.
I know.
Who lives there now? Swindlers, is that who lives there?
Oh, yeah, the double wide?
Yeah, blue, light blue in color.
Yeah.
Their north fence is actually our start line. And Beaver City actually has been approved for money to fund next year, and they're gonna do up to our line.
Up to that.
Yeah.
So then we go clear to the freeway?
Yes, we're able to go clear to the freeway. Yep,
Wonderful.
yep.
Good
What's our
project.
speed limit gonna be?
So it's,
That's what the neighbors are gonna want.
the speed limits are not gonna change.
Is it 45?
So it depends on where you're at, so I think you're down to 30 through Manderfield, and you're 50 up on, from the top of Gale Field to, as you drop into Bruce, I think we're 50 there, and then you're 40 in the other places. So, the speed limits are not gonna change though. That was, the only thing that'll change is a new sign.
Just the call, the drivers will change
Oh, yeah.
speed limit.
Yep, especially if they have to reroute I-15 through there.
And that was our big push through,
Because we've
to
had
get
so
this
much
funding.
of that,
Yeah, and, we explained to them how many times they send traffic that way, so
yeah,
whether it helped on our funding, I don't know, but that was our big
yeah.
statement, so.
Well, thanks, good work.
Thanks, Corey, appreciate it.
Thanks, Cory.
Okay,
Good job.
I'll send you that email as soon as I get done.
okay, thank you.
All right, Steph, you have a couple, image and burley requests?
Yes, these were, given to me, another one came in over the weekend, we had one at first, but then another one came in over the weekend that Ginger asked me to include. So we've got two of them there.
So I just spot one in the packet, so the new one.
The new, he has the copy of the new one, yeah, it just barely came this morning. Well, she sent it to me over the weekend, Ginger did. So there's two, if you'll approve.
So this is the person?
Yeah.
You know the one, the other one I don't.
The one in the packet, I think I'm acquainted with.
Yeah.
The other one I don't.
questions about that? I mean, obvious what it is, right?
I didn't see. Oh, there it is.
Yep, yeah. I moved you up, sorry, but I knew it would be behind, so I
Not mine. Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, I entertain a motion to approve these two indigent burial requests.
I'll make that motion to approve both of them.
Okay?
I'll second that.
Do we have to name names or anything?
I don't think so. All in favor?
What's the amount if you want?
Well, I don't know without even doing that.
It's the 15th. Oh, let's see, that's 15th.
There's a bill.
Where's the bill at? Oh,
They're both that much.
they're all $1,200?
Yeah.
Okay.
$1,200. There's no bill.
It's 24, so
Total.
12 and 12, yeah.
Yeah, total $2,400. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make it unanimous, all right. Paul, come on up. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Very good. If you will, just introduce yourself
I'm
for record.
Paul Swan with Dominion Energy, land agent, and.
Go ahead and sit down.
Yeah.
Have microphone there.
Yeah, okay. And, we're doing a deep well down over by the,
Fairgrounds.
that lake. across-
Are you doing it at the lake?
No, across the highway there on the south side. And we had already
You dug one
gone
on the
through this.
reservoir, or dug one on the fairgrounds.
Yeah, and we hit water, see, we dig about 300 feet, and there was water, so this cathodic, it's for cathodic integrity for our pipeline. So there's that, transmission line going overhead. So what that does is it decides to attach to our pipe and ground to that, which starts corroding our pipe. So we put these cathodic, attached to the pipe, and then we send them, it's kind of like a water heater, it has the anodes in it, so it doesn't rust out. So we send that down, I don't know how big, 300 feet, that's why it's that 10 by 10 piece. But we also need access, you know, to get to it, that's part of the other. And then it just takes all the grounding to that anode. Sometimes we'll have, the deep well's better than sending it 300 feet down the length instead. Sometimes we've done that, but we usually pull that because people start developing, and so we put a deep well in. So that's why I'm back again, because the first one over by the fairgrounds didn't work out.
High water
for us.
table?
Yeah.
So what's your next plan?
To get this signed and approved,
Yeah, but where's your next?
that's it.
It's right there again,
Yeah.
isn't it? Just
In the
down.
exact same
No,
spot?
it's not. We had to move it to this new area.
So where is the new area?
It's,
A little bit further.
Cause that's the one,
West.
so where the circle is?
it's,
was
the
here.
it's
arrow?
across the.
There's
if
a
you
lot of
go-
dots
if you
there,
go
so.
east,
Give him this thing again. Cause he probably knows better than,
well, there's that
So
lake
that-
there.
The lake?
Yeah,
Oh, you're way below the lake. You're not, it's
Yeah,
not on this
we're
map.
clear east on this.
You're east of there, you're higher up the canyon?
No. Yeah, we're east of the
Fairgrounds.
fairgrounds.
Okay, that's why I was confused, because it shows it right there.
Yeah, it shows
Just a
it.
little bit west of where you drilled the last
Yeah,
one.
and that, probably, have to talk to the engineer and have her
That map,
fix that.
you're in the exact same spot you were to begin with.
You throw a rock from one to the other, if you're
Yeah.
not there.
Let me see if I can.
The other question is, how much water was there? We get excited when we hit water.
Yeah.
I'm kinda sad because you hit water.
I think this is what she sent. Let me see if I can find it here.
That seems to be where the current well is.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, that's, that's why I was confused,
Okay.
I mean, you can drill holes all day long if you want, doesn't bother me, but I didn't know if you'd get different results that close.
No, that's why we moved.
So you went quite a bit east.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me find what I can find here. These are all their own, sorry.
Is there a map with one of those?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just gotta find where it is.
Probably exhibit number 2, the next one.
Yep. Where's that? Probably the next one after that, sorry. All right.
Location.
Just have to read, that's all.
Are they backwards? Like, and what's the thing?
Yep.
Sign that you got the packet.
Yep.
Let me see this. Oh, next one.
Just zoom in on that map some.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause that BEO 11, that's where you drilled before. And that circle is showing that you're going west, not east.
Oh, so let me see. I mixed up the filters.
It's right at the fairgrounds parking lot, is that gonna cause
Well,
trouble?
that's what it was.
No, that's where the
That was the last one.
But it was in between the trees and the highway.
So it didn't cause.
It was that, that's where they wanted to drill, was in the middle of the parking lot the first time, we went last to do it.
Is this the one?
Yeah.
That's those fairgrounds on that one.
Yeah, it says
That's-
fairgrounds,
That's
too.
the old one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a new site.
Let's see.
Where's the old one? That's where it was before.
Yep.
Oh, I see,
Yeah.
yeah, I see.
Let me,
And you went east?
yeah, we're east. I can show you if you bring up Google Maps.
Are you still on county property, or
Yeah.
you
The
can't,
other is BLM.
you can't go very far east
Yeah, I don't wanna,
on
I don't wanna go on BLM.
county property?
I thought they did it first.
And there's a, should be next.
Wiki faster.
What's that lake called?
So you'll be right next to the highway again?
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be, it's kind of this. It's on your property, but it's in this vicinity.
It'll be on the east side, yeah.
Or the, yeah, we go
South.
north, yeah. Around here.
I did talk to Kyle about that. He said they're not utilizing water, they're not digging for any water use or anything like that. It's just strictly for,
Just to protect our pipeline.
information, like to get their, that's, so we get, CUP is not needed for that.
Okay.
Because they're not building anything, they're not utilizing water, they're not putting power in, they're just putting something in for data. Correct? Yeah. So that, you just have to give them an ROW.
So is this location on here,
That, all of
Correct.
that is
saying this place
correct.
here where you're at?
Mm-hmm.
The strip line located northeast quarter of section 11.
Was there two right of ways, one for the access, or did I put all,
I just have that.
There are
one.
two right of ways, there's one that's temporary and then one that's permanent.
yeah, so temporary construction, so we can put our
So they're
equipment on there.
They're east of the lake, up by,
East of the lake?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way further.
It's, and they want to be on the east side of the road. It's on one of those two, where it crosses the road. And how big is it, a 10-inch?
10 by 10 feet wide.
And then how big is the well?
Just kind of like I think it oil digging rig, you know.
Okay, so just a 2-inch pipe?
Yeah,
going
I
in.
mean,
I think it's bigger than that.
I thought it was a 10-inch total pipe.
I thought it was a 10-inch hole. and
what does it say
6
on
inch.
the, specs?
Just if you hit water here,
Yeah,
we want to know about
I
it.
was ringing the engineering
Could be
chief,
beneficial
couldn't make
in the
it,
future.
so.
Yeah, we have a water rate right there. We
That's
need to drill
right,
a
we
well.
need the well.
I think the only way we approve this is if they drill our wells.
You see this, Counselor?
I have a couple of minor corrections.
But is
to that
any of
first
this
paragraph.
accurate?
They say this, this is.
Just not the
This-
map.
Yeah, if you wanna
Have the
make
map.
those changes and then
But
send
that,
that.
Along
that's accurate.
like
So do you have the number?
Section 11, Township 30, South Range National Rate.
This is the original.
Yes, this is generated by your office.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So we're not a corporation.
Okay.
I can't call him, my phone won't work.
We call Kevin.
Okay.
You got the address on the
Yeah,
second.
'cause I.
They might have left before the week.
Oh, there's that.
Okay.
So those two changes,
And send them to you or to Stephanie?
and set.
Okay.
Just the right stuff.
I think they're
You
probably.
want these?
I'll let you hold on to that, that's all I have. Well, I guess I can pull that other junk out if we will.
I don't see us approving this unless we've got all the accurate information.
I'll send the stuff back to you.
Well, it needs to be today though, we can't approve it unless we've got it. This is the problem.
Okay,
So the only changes I suggested were, number one,
Maybe Kevin.
Come on up here, Kevin.
we're not a corporation, we're a political subdivision of the state of Utah, so I wanted to change that. Then they put our address to just state Highway 21, and of course, we're 105 East 72nd. I wanted those two changes.
let me make a call,
Okay.
see if she can send that.
Can you tell us where this is, can you help us with the location of this?
So we
I
know
still
what
have
it
it
says,
on that stuff.
but we don't know where it is.
Is there any way we can find that?
Can you access your maps up here, Kevin?
Yep.
How do we know where that's at?
Well, give Kevin the mouse and let him work his magic.
Maybe down on this peak. If it's on Beaver County,
Yeah.
probably.
He's saying it's on our private property, on the county property, but he wants it on the corners on the east side of the highway, right? So in there, but
Section, 1139.
Okay.
So it's that one there.
so it'd have to be
Northeast
that.
quarter,
Okay, northeast.
So up here.
so the red.
The only place where the highway goes through is kind of that middle
Just that
section.
lower right-hand corner.
Mhm.
If that's, oh,
I got to turn there, huh?
Right, yep, right there.
That's the only place you could possibly.
I think it's thinking right there.
Right before the big turn. Kevin will tell us, wouldn't he?
Yes, he will.
So being,
I can do this if I
Distance
can do it by
186
myself at my house,
feet.
it's all good, so I can't do it in front of somebody.
Not under pressure and all that stuff.
I don't have my glasses on.
You're doing pretty good.
600 feet, you're pretty close right there. Oh, wait, you're going back.
This is 186 feet.
Oh,
Okay,
This is right there.
So that says 189, like,
pretty close.
that close to.
Give him a little wiggle room.
Strip of land located in the northeast quarter of section 1. Beginning at a point 10 feet offset,
that's the southeast corner.
perpendicular from the southeast right of way.
Yeah.
So,
Quarter of section.
it's like they wanna come 10 feet from there.
Mhm.
Well, they'd have to be off the state right away, but I think they still need power, right?
Yes.
You gotta be by a power line.
Yeah, and that's, yeah.
So I think it is the right.
Right area.
Just the math was wrong. They sent us the wrong math.
Mhm.
So 186.
Touchy.
Yeah, that was right, so.
You're so close. Look at that.
Does it help if I had it on?
One second. 79 feet.
It looks like it'd be right under the power
Okay.
line.
You do that.
Right next to the power.
About right there is where it's described as a beginning point. And it's north 50 degrees east, 10 feet, and it's north 39 degrees west to the southeast highway right of way.
I take it back, I shouldn't have
That
done this
distance
whole
is
year.
10 feet.
I'm gonna
So all,
retract my statement.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's right on the power line.
Still benefits us if they hit water, I guess. That's what I'm looking at.
anyway, I can't manipulate this to get
Well, but that,
details,
that
other
gives
than
us,
just
that's close
approximately, this is.
enough.
That's approximate area anyway, so
Yeah.
that's all we're gonna do, yeah, that helps a ton.
Cause the map they sent, it was right on top of the original, well, they drilled down and found out it had to get water, so.
Yes.
Hey, I gotta
They,
hit water
I
there.
think they still need to come back and fix that fence and all that stuff there.
Over by the fairgrounds.
I don't think they ever fixed it.
So this is a water well they're wanting to drill here?
It's that well that they drilled last year down by the fairgrounds, and it's to counteract like the electrolysis stuff on the Dominion gas lines, the deep.
Electric road,
Deep
they get
well.
water.
Science doesn't really make sense to me, but
We're not
the
engineers.
only thing, I'm trying to compare it to the electrolysis on the sprinklers that's like
Mhm.
on the flat,
They hit water real quick down there, so.
which was done, and we,
I gotta hit
I
it
said
here
that
too,
out
I
loud.
think.
I don't if they'll hit it there, they might, because they're still pretty close to the river. I don't know what the water table is. At least they're not right on the river.
Anything else?
Nope.
Thank you,
You
sir.
tell us,
You're the best, tell me my mouth.
are you trying to leave? Your meeting
Yes.
start today?
Hey, don't forget your glasses.
I come running up here like, what do they want?
When you leave, don't forget your glasses.
Thank you.
If that was all you needed.
We knew you were the
Perfect.
expert,
Yeah.
so.
You just knew where to, how to read that and tell us where we're at, so.
We needed to know which section we were in.
I'm not that good at it, maybe these two could do it, I couldn't quite figure out where we're at. It does say section 11.
Well, you have to read it backwards.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, when he's taking the call, we're gonna move on to surplus SAR snowmobiles.
Okay.
Maybe we see the location now, so they, call it, whatever.
well, I still want to be,
Mental paper.
Okay. So, search and rescue, well, that's four-wheeler number.
Oh, you can do them all the same if you want.
Okay, so here's search and rescue. This is the info they sent me. They want to sell them as a pair rather than single. So they want to start the bid at 900.
For a pair?
900?
For both of them, yeah, I don't,
That's a little cheap.
well, and that's bidding, so it could
Are they-
go up to,
Oh, yeah.
That's what?
That's a starting bid. The bid.
so it could go up to, you know,
Yeah, that's
Where are
what I
they?
see this, and they look like.
$900, that's kind of nice.
Pretty nice sled.
What kind of hours have they got on?
Very low.
right here.
720
Miles.
Always started with covered building, one bogey little package.
775 on the other. Unload.
Huh.
Used to have an 800.
Bidding is for the pair.
Well, Craig must know if they're worth it.
It's actually Ashley Lightfoot that sent it to me,
Oh, actually.
yeah. So,
That's weird.
and Craig,
I still think,
Craig. I mean, I can start at the bidding higher if you want me to.
I don't know why we're selling them as a pair now.
I don't,
I don't know a lot about some of those, but
Anyway.
that seems super low. I'd say $900 each.
$2,000 starting bid for the pair.
No, I don't mind starting low, but 900 for a pair?
Yeah, that's,
I
I'd
say
say double,
900
double.
each.
I mean,
I
I
think it's the year, they're over 20 years old, right here.
So
Yeah,
we,
pretty old.
If my phone worked, I'd.
You're worth, no, you're not worth $900.
we're not worth $900 for.
I can hurry and.
I mean, it's probably what they're worth, huh? You Blue booked them?
I think they did their research.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. It's not a arbitrary number, I would imagine.
And they got some brand new.
They must have it.
I don't do snowmobile, so I'm talking.
I just really don't want to get started on the mountain. I don't want to come home and only have helicopter in the sled.
Be cold, I don't want to be cold.
Right. I get they're saying to make things easier, they sell them as a pair rather than singly.
Yeah.
Maybe they're the same thing selling them part one out. It's
Yeah.
different, but it sounds to me like the only thing, whatever a bogey wheel is.
They're just a little plastic wheel on the track, they're like $4 part. Pretty easy, and it's just cracked, probably from sun rot,
It's never seen the sun.
or because it's 20 years old, I guess. I'm trying to.
Trying to.
Well, while you're looking that up, let's look at the four-wheelers.
Okay, I did,
There's a 2001 RX 550 for $250.
so here is the four-wheeler. The four-wheeler does not run.
Is that the one for the fairgrounds?
Yeah, it's the one from the lake.
It doesn't
Or
run.
the lake, I mean, no, because they tore it apart
Yeah, they tore it apart.
and never put it back together. Right.
And so, it's, I mean, it looks.
It's a Polaris what, 500?
It is
I
a
think it's the exact same four-wheeler as I
Ford
have.
500.
They did they put it back together?
No. I mean, it looks like it.
It looks like this, but it's not.
It wasn't, no,
How much is it? A lot.
I'm over.
So
Why are we?
I did this, but it still doesn't work, so I don't know what you guys wanna.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth, I'd say that's worth $250,
Okay.
$300, so.
And we need to put on there that it has been
Not
taken,
running.
has been taken
Doesn't
apart.
run.
Does not run.
Okay.
Buy it for parts, because I can.
Yeah.
And surplus snowmobiles at, starting at $1,000 or something, or what?
Up to you guys. I didn't record it.
$1,200-1,300.
Each, that's what I.
KSL. If we wanna do 2,000 for the pair, if they wanna sell them as a pair, I think they'll bring that. That's $1,000 a piece to start with.
Okay.
That work?
2,000 for the pair.
That's where I would.
Starting.
Or you could do, start at 1,800 for the parent, just so it's a little lower and then go up.
That's fine, that's fine. That's good. So you wanna,
Okay.
have a four-wheeler?
$250.
Okay, I'll make that motion that we surplus the pair of snowmobiles starting bid at 1,800 for the pair. And then the 2007 Polaris 500, right? Starting bid at 250.
Okay, perfect.
And can we tell people where they go to bid on these?
Yes, they go to publicsurplus.utah.com. And it'll be there. After today.
Okay. Paul, what'd you figure out?
So. You want a second on that motion?
Oh, yes, sorry.
I'll-
Motion second.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's perfect. All right.
So I did talk to the engineer. What happens on these is it takes, she kind of the cart before the horse. She wants the approval, but I said I can't get the approval because they want the right paperwork. She says, well, is it for sure approved? I said, if we had the paperwork, they'd approve it.
Well, the problem that I have with it is we want an exact location,
Right.
that's all I'm worried about. And so we had Kevin come and
Show us.
backtrack on the legal description, and I think we're pretty accurate on
Yeah.
that. But, you know,
As far as light changes, you could approve it subject to those corrections,
That's
if
okay.
you chose to, yeah.
yeah.
So we can get a drawing, it takes a couple months on these drawings, I guess it.
No, we don't need that, we just wanted a point on the map. I think your other stuff's accurate,
Mm-hmm.
like the legal description.
Right. I mean,
We could
you want
probably.
a Latin
write
law,
that
I can
again.
get from her.
Do
We
what?
just did that.
Oh,
It's
you
right
did?
here. Kevin came in.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
for you.
We kind of worked that out.
Okay.
Yeah, we worked it out, so it, you know, according to the legal description, it's up by the lake in that corner of the county property.
Yep.
So the legal description's right, it's just the map that was wrong.
The exhibit was wrong.
Yeah. So she said that she sent the old one just for your information on what the site will look like,
Okay.
not the location.
Gotcha.
And so that's what costs, I guess we have a budget on this cathodic, and that's part of the drawing thing, that she didn't want to do it until we for sure knew that it'd be approved.
So I can get a drawing in a couple months.
So I think the other issue that I can think of is I'm not positive that the fence and stuff got fixed down at the other place
Oh,
when they
I
dug.
can,
So that kinda needs to be
Find out who
rehabbed,
needs to-
cleaned back up.
Yeah.
It's kinda cleaned up,
I'll drive by there.
but drive by
The
down
fence
there.
by the
Where they
light
cut the fence to go
shed.
to drill.
Okay, I'll drive by there and take pictures and then have them come back and fix that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause we don't do that. I mean, we reclaim everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it just needs to be put back into.
In this, agreement here, we need to
Yeah,
say
and
that.
Ron's having them change this.
Yes, Beaver County, yeah.
So did you write all that down?
I think it's on the new one.
Yeah, he gave me,
Yeah, the restoration,
Yep, they're,
Peter Ross.
he's having the changes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll send them, fix those and send them back to Stephanie.
So would you have to put a shed and stuff in? Cause that's kind of the reason why we had you drill, when
that
you were
should-
drilling, cause there was
Well,
power
that's-
access right there. and-
Yeah, so we'll put a power pole, not like the ones out there, but
Right.
just, I think they put a little solar, no, we get power from the, cause I have to have UPNL. So the next thing will be approved is for them, right away, they'll ask me to get, like we did the last one, for Utah Power, or Rocky Mountain Power. Just to get power, they have an easement too, that we have to sign across their stuff.
And that's also open grazing right there, so you would have to put a fence around whatever
Yeah.
you've got.
We can do that.
And then I don't really I see an access road below there, but I know UDOT doesn't, that's a UDOT highway, they wouldn't grant you another road easement, I don't think, off of their road, so you would have to come in off that one right there below.
Probably.
Because there's no frontage road or anything.
No.
So it's right here, you'll probably fix
A
them.
little
So that, the dirt one, right?
It's probably the fence, it's the fence, there's probably kind of a little maintenance trail
There's
or
probably a road
something
next to
under
the
that
fence you
power
can drive
line.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the only other issues as far as, can you take that
Can go right.
pink away? There you go.
Not much of the trail.
Yeah, you just have that fence line, but you'd have to be outside of the UDOT right away. And
Yeah,
probably outside
yeah.
of the power pole.
And I'm sure that's what, I know we did that, we stayed out of their right of way.
Cause is Dominion, do they run on that south side or the east side of the,
Yeah, that pipeline.
is on that side of the
Mhm.
UDOT? Okay. Yeah, 'cause you're definitely gonna have to fence that off.
Yeah, well,
In fact, there's cows in there right now.
Does that fence end right there?
It goes all the way around.
No, it goes over there.
It goes clear down, there's no cattle on that dirt road.
No.
I think that fence.
You fence
so
comes-
you want like just 6 foot or an 8 foot surrounding that?
Probably.
Just a 6 foot would be fine.
Yeah, it's, you might have some deer shading in there.
I can't remember where that fence.
I swear that fence comes across.
I'm sure if you,
Well,
go on the road, see if you can visualize it. Looks like there's,
On that section, there we go.
that's the weather.
I think that fence ends just a little bit
It might be.
north of there.
You might not have to put that.
It'd probably still be a good idea to fence, I think we put that.
yeah, we'll do it just for security,
Yeah.
or knowing,
Yeah, that's kind of where it is, right there.
We've all been up that road 400 times, and we can't remember. 400 times.
Well, that fire went
Times
through
four.
there, you can see where the fire was.
Yeah, 42 years.
Yeah,
Can't remember where the fence was. It might be up there,
I don't know, yeah, there's no fence there.
I'll look on my way home, I know that.
Let's just drive.
This road.
Usually we can drive.
I think we leave.
There we go.
Stay there.
Now you're driving?
Yeah.
Now I gotta sit for it.
All right, what do you guys wanna do?
I think we're probably fine, as long as that,
With the corrections made?
with the corrections made and, according to the legal description. Is there anything else as far as details go that's in that contract that we need to worry about at all? You guys didn't make that, but it's not that big of a footprint.
Yeah,
I made my corrections.
yeah, I'll get the corrections too, so.
I think we have the corrections.
Send,
Should be okay.
send the Stephanie,
Yep.
and then go from there.
So I'll entertain a motion that we approve this temporary construction easement agreement with the corrections made.
Temporary construction plus the 10x10 exclusive easement.
Yeah, there are actually two right of ways.
Yeah, there's two.
We're granting one's temporary, the other's permanent.
But, yeah,
That's right. Sorry, I'm just going to come out of them.
All right, we only have one.
Oh, did we only put one on the list? The packet has two.
I only got one here unless I only have one.
I got you, I'll show you the other one. So here's the construction easement,
That's what I have.
okay? And, probably love that, cause I, wrong way.
Packet did have both.
Yeah, it does.
What did I do?
Construction and right away. So we just need to change this.
Yeah, so we talked provision.
Tammy made the motion. Commissioner Britton made the motion.
Yes.
I'll second the motion.
Any other questions? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We just need to make sure that that's all printed off right.
Yep.
Is that something that your office needs to edit
I think he, has the original.
he made the changes,
on both of them?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
And then I'll send this
Paul
Stephanie.
and I know each other from
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah.
From
This
where?
has been
Emails.
this has probably been a 3-year at least, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, thank you, Nancy. When those paperwork get in here, I will, we can sign them, okay?
Okay.
Okay?
all right.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
You bet. Have a good day.
You too.
The motion passed, right?
Motion passes.
Yes. Ginger's in love.
And you have surplus sheriff's vehicles as well?
Yes, we surplused, 2 vehicles, they were both Dodge. What do you have, Durangos? One has Dodge Durango, so I was like,
Don't surplus my car.
no, they were
Are
on
they
the
on
one
here? Are they
side.
on the packet?
Are they on here?
No, because they didn't have info yet. But,
Who surplus them?
the sheriff's office, one was Kylie's, one was.
So we don't have any information at all?
We do from Tracy. So they're both traded in for $16,000.
You don't have any way of pulling them up?
I don't, I only have the bill that I showed you guys. So I don't, and that's the thing, they kind of did it.
So are they trading them in and getting new vehicles?
They already did,
They already
yeah.
did, so it's after the fact, isn't it?
So they traded them in, got $16,000.
I'm hoping Ginger told them they're supposed to.
Okay. So the bill that was on, that was for two vehicles?
Yeah, that was for their vehicles.
So we don't have any information at all on them?
Well, it's already done, what are we gonna do?
Suppose you could ratify.
So we gotta put it in.
Yeah, this happened like at the end of last week, and we were like, okay.
Wow.
So yeah, sheriff's office, they already traded them, they had traded 2 Durangos for, I don't even know what, because they didn't say.
Want to table this till Ginger gets here and can explain a little better? You know,
Tracy knows.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on today?
You know, just came to see all my folks up here in Beaver County.
Awesome. You got some stuff for us today?
I don't really, but I can give you guys a quick update on just some things going on if you want.
There you go. Yeah, go right ahead.
Like I say, you guys probably know about most of them anyway.
Uh-huh.
For the record,
Yeah, for the
Ballard, Flipco. So, yeah, I feel like I've talked to Brandon, I've talked to Tammy a little bit about just a lot of stuff going on in the state. As affects Beaver County, as you guys well know, Representative Albrecht is running his bill. Commissioner Pearson testified at that hearing up on the hill here a week and a half ago.
Did Sandal end up being sent at the concert?
I'm not 100% sure. I've actually been out of the office
I
for
know.
quite a while.
Congratulations, Daddy.
Thank you. So, yeah, me and my wife had our first baby here.
Oh, awesome.
4 weeks ago on the dot.
That's awesome.
So, we are both sleep deprived and trying to figure out how to keep the little guy alive and fat and happy. So,
I think you'll do just fine.
You will do just fine.
Yeah.
we're doing
I
good.
trust his
Have
mother.
faith.
I do too.
I
She's from good Beaver County stuff.
I have no idea.
When in doubt, get grandma involved, all right? It'll be fine.
And we've done that too.
All right, perfect. Good.
On both sides. So,
Good.
yeah. No, so honestly, I've kind of been out of the office a lot. This week is kind of one of my first weeks I'm actually kind of back in the office. So, anyway, haven't seen you guys in a few months, and last time I came up, me and Stephanie were the only ones here because I didn't realize commissioning got canceled.
I'm glad you came today.
Yeah, I had to come try again. So,
Did it get canceled or moved?
I think it just got moved.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say, I don't think we've canceled any meetings, but.
so I didn't do my due diligence and go look at the public notice website. I just
Well, we
showed
had
up
to
with
move
the
because the
regular-
elections were all screwed up, so we
I
had
think
to
that's-
change some dates. I think that's because you texted me and I'm like, nope, not today, tomorrow, or.
Yep, so that was on me, but, anyway, short and sweet, yeah, Representative Albrecht is running his bill to define grazing as a right. There were some concerns with the way that was worded,
So
Representative.
now it's an allotment.
Yeah, and that was, I caught that about an hour before the committee hearing, so I was scrambling with the legislative attorneys trying to say, hey, you try to define a permit as a right, this is gonna lose all day long. So anyways, that's going forward, so that's some positive news. Things to watch out for this spring conservation rule, we've talked about that a lot in the last year or two. That, they're saying March-ish, April-ish is gonna get rolled out. And so, anyway, so I know we're already looking at lawsuits and how we're gonna push back on that. So, yeah, conservation rule, trying to think what else affects,
We got the
Beaver
SEC,
County.
it's pulled for now.
So that got pulled for now. Yeah, and we were working really closely with
That was-
Marla Oaks on that,
Yeah.
and the AG's office, and so, yeah, that was huge. I don't think people realize how big of a deal that was.
No, well, I can tell you, I had a knockdown, drag-out dog fight with, you've met Jonathan Sheffield, haven't you, with Nico, our public
I've
lands
not,
guy?
actually.
Well, he's gone now, but anyway, he argued with me, like literally, I gave him a heads up on this, he goes, that has nothing to do with counties, and I go, are you kidding me? This is just as bad as a conservation rule or anything else we've been fighting. So I sent him all this stuff, and he's like, oh, yeah, kind of,
Yeah, I talked to, Adam, Colowitz, the new guy,
yeah.
and, I knew him from when I interned on the Hill, but anyway, good guy. He calls me, he's like, hey, this seems like an issue. So, yeah, we kind of got you extra down on that. But, yeah, essentially, that was the funding mechanism to take the conservation rule and implement the conservation leases. That SEC
Exactly.
rule was, that was the funding vehicle. That was how they were gonna do it.
Yeah.
And you had to read between the lines a little bit, but as an attorney, you look at that and I go, well, the attorneys that wrote this, you can see how, if I was on the other side, that's how I would use it. That, it opened that door. It didn't say that's what we're doing, but it took those doors, opened them wide up, and said, hey, if you're in
Have
the
at
with
it.
half your salt,
Yeah.
here's your vehicle. So yeah, so that's off for now. I'm trying to think what else, what federal line questions you guys have for me? I was gonna say, I feel like
And we're working
we
on
coordinate
funding.
closely enough, yeah.
Really hard to keep the Flipco attorneys, so I think we got it, I hope so.
I saw that went through, the last House committee, so.
They're, it is
Oh, it was
Sandal,
Sandal.
okay,
Okay,
because
good.
the last time I looked at it, Sandal, Scott hadn't signed on yet.
Yeah, scroll down just a hair if you would. I don't mean to take up your guys' time.
No, you're good. This one's gonna be huge.
Yeah, go down to, yeah, so, and this is only applicable if and when the transfer of land ever happens. And I think that's something a lot of folks miss, is this doesn't actually affect any grazing as of now.
Oh, I thought it did.
Because if you look, so the bill makes changes to provisions related to grazing under the Utah Public Land Management Act. This only applies to public lands as defined under that. And so if and when Utah ever gets 200,000 acres transferred to the state of Utah, this applies to those lands. This
Okay.
does not apply to BLM and Forest Service as of now.
Why
Which is
can't we-
something,
Until it's transferred,
Yeah.
unless it's transferred.
Yeah, but why
If-
couldn't we do it that way now?
exactly, that was my argument. Because as of now, this bill does nothing. It's a good start, but as of now, it does nothing.
So can we add to it later?
I think once it's on the books, I think we could go back in and amend it.
Cause Celeste is all over it, she's loving this.
Right, and I don't think even Celeste knows that this doesn't do anything.
Oh, that sucks.
So, yeah, because that was my biggest thing, is I said, so this is I don't know, it's a good start, and Utah gets the lands transferred, which means the federal grazing means nothing, because at this point it's not federal, now it's state. So, again, this bill doesn't really do anything. The second thing is permits have never, ever been property rights and never will be recognized as property rights. A building permit, whatever,
Right.
a permit of any kind is never a right. A permit only authorizes you to use whatever the underlying property right is.
So why didn't, okay, so we need to change that next.
And so that's why, so I went in and suggested, hey, we need it to read allotment, it needs to be tied to the allotment, because the allotment is what the ranchers are buying and selling.
Right.
And so,
But it is a tangible right.
right, the permit is never, when, heck, you've probably bought grazing allotments, when you go buy one, you don't say, hey, the value's tied to the permit, the value is tied to the AUMs, the infrastructure, the water rights, the base property, those are the things that actually have value, and the permit, you only apply for that preference right transfer after you've acquired those four things.
Right.
And so to say it's the permit, I thought, well, this
Well, that was a
bill is
good
dead
catch.
from the get-go.
That was a good catch, but we still should have,
So, and if you
Had
scroll
more
down a little
teeth in it.
bit, a little bit further, valid existing rights, yeah. So then it says, okay, so here's our four, well, scroll down just a little bit more. So A, B, C, and D are kind of the four things that say, okay, so here's what's gonna give you protection under this bill. And originally, it read, you have to be able to show that the land can support continued grazing. And so instead, I suggested, hey, we need to put in there that the lands are chiefly valuable for grazing. And the reason for that is because the Taylor Grazing Act created the grazing districts,
Right.
and then the allotments
Right.
within those districts.
right,
And to be eligible as a district, the Secretary of the Interior has to make a determination that those lands are chiefly valuable for grazing. And so that is an actual determination that until it is revoked, that is the primary use of those lands under the Taylor Grazing Act. Even though it's multiple use, the Taylor Grazing Act says,
has
yes,
a
it's multiple
preference
use,
to grazing.
but the lands are chiefly valuable for
Right,
grazing.
right,
And so,
right.
essentially, that just kind of protected that determination. And then also under D, originally it read, essentially, you had to obtain the permit. And so I said, well, we need to say it has obtained the preference right to that permit, because that's a little bit different than acquiring a permit. And the reason for that is, so I purchased from Brandon the, base property, the water rights, and, if it's forest, I bought the permitted livestock, and that gives me the preference for the issuance of the new permit. And so the problem with, if you say, well, if you've acquired that permit, now you have a valid existing right. The problem with that is, the BLM and Forest Service can drag that out through NEPA for 10 years. So I could go buy that allotment from Brandon, and may not have a permit for 10 years. We've seen that on the staircase where they don't want to issue permits, where they'll buy them, and then they just won't issue it. And so under this essentially it protects you, I guess, further back in time is what I'm trying to say. So if I bought it, that's what triggers section D under this law, not 10 years later when they get through their NEPA and actually give you the permit. It's when did you get the preference right for that permit, not when you got the permit. Does that make sense?
So this isn't gonna help us on the resource management plan on the staircase then?
It's, I mean, we'll bring it up. We're gonna use it to say Utah recognizes that grazing is a valid existing right. And then their solicitors will come back and say, well, yeah, but your law says it only applies to land owned by the state of Utah, not on land owned by the BLM. There's no state land in the Grand Staircase. So they'll argue that this is completely inapplicable. So it's gonna be more of an anecdotal argument, like, well, the state recognizes that, but it's not really gonna have a lot of bearing.
Scroll back up just a hair, so that's gone through.
And that was something that got raised. We've had producers over in Paiute County who have said, well, if this was gonna have any teeth, they should have said this bill.
Stop.
Oh, I thought you said up.
No, I said stop.
Sorry.
Okay, stop. So it's gone House, gone to the speaker for enrolling.
Yeah, and the preference right, we snuck it in the Second Amendment. The First Amendment is when we put in the allotment language, the Second Amendment is when we snuck in the preference right. And that comes from the Taylor Grazing Act as well. So we're trying to tie
Because
it
the better you tie it to the Taylor Grazing Act, the more solid it will be.
Right. So, and Taylor Grazing Act only applies to BLM, not Forest Service, and so but Forest Service sadly doesn't have the same language that
Right.
BLM does. BLM is a little bit more pro-grazing than Forest Service is. But we're trying to tie it back to as much existing laws as we can.
Okay. Come on, so enrolling. Still gotta go through Senate, I think.
Right.
Let's pass the House, so, Channel ought to be able to get that done. I'll bet you it's in there today.
Yeah, they got, what, 15 days, 14 days?
No,
Oh,
it's done next week, Thursday.
Oh.
Thursday, right?
Yeah.
But only the work, like, the weekend, okay.
Sleep deprivation, February only has
29 this year.
29, leap year, thank you. Corrected twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been all over this one, and then just kind of prepping for the conservation rule, and we've got a Western Watershed lawsuit out here on the West Desert that's still moving forward. We're working with Idaho, we're still trying to get our,
Which one's that one?
the Western Watershed lawsuit challenging, that one got filed late last year. Reader's Digest version, Western Watersheds filed against the BLM, essentially trying to force them to do NEPA on all of the allotments that aren't meeting rangeland health standards. And so,
We'll blame it on the horses.
exactly. And so, when you look at, there's the group called PEER, I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but they put out a map several years ago that kind of shows every allotment in the western United States and which ones are meeting standards and which ones aren't. You know, so green was meeting, red was not, and you look at that map, there's a lot of red in Utah's West Desert, and those are the allotments that this lawsuit is focused on. And, yeah, so the problem is, they're saying, well, it's not meeting rangeland health standards, and then the counter argument is, well, yes, you haven't identified livestock as a causal factor. All we know is that they're not meeting standards, but if you start looking at
That was
western Utah.
part of the drought and everything else, though.
Right, drought, horses, exactly. And so, there's only 2 allotments named in the complaint in Utah that they're really going after. One of them is on the staircase, one of them is down in St. George field office, and I can't remember the 2 names right off the top of my head. But all of them that aren't meeting are kind of broadly mentioned in that lawsuit, so that does affect Beaver County. Because they're not asking for them to not reissue permits, but that's kind of the next logical step. Is that right now they're asking for a pause until they do their NEPA.
We'll see.
So-
We're stuck on 20 years up here on my summer range because Western Watershed's put a hold on that. So we haven't been able to, we're still running on the 3rd deal on our old original permit.
Right.
Because they won't let us renew it.
Right. So I think, so, yeah, something like that. I mean, we've seen that's what they do, delay.
Yeah.
And this is just one more. So, yeah, so we're working with Idaho, putting together our interveners brief on that.
Well, I think Reg told us you guys have got 65 lawsuits right now.
Yeah, and most of those are honestly not moving forward real quick. We've only got a couple that are actually kind of actively moving forward. Yeah, the rest of them are, I don't know, 28 of those are the RS 247 lawsuits, and all of those are on pause until the development is.
I know those guys, so we cornered Tracy Stone Manning, who's the other BLM. When we were in DC last week, and Jerry Taylor got her cornered and committed to have a meeting, so they fly out Sunday, I think. Jerry and Leland, and they're taking 3 of the cowboys from off the grand staircase, and they're gonna go down and, it's kind of the last chance to
Good.
talk some sense into them.
Yeah.
I think Reg is going out too.
Good, good. Well, I think the pause on the land transfer on Bears is, I think, finally got their attention.
Yeah, and did you hear that?
Finally got their attention.
No, the land transfer, what he's talking about. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but that little block that we've got out here on the potash, guess where that property came from? When they grand staircase, when they did the grand staircase, and they traded all the Sitla parcels, and then they found lands of value that they could put them on, so the mining deposit, and they did that all over the state, they transferred, and that was Levitt, right, that did all of that, no questions asked, just threw them out there. Well, Bruce Adams dug his heels in, and if it hadn't been for Bruce Adams, it wouldn't have happened, and then all the county commissioners stuck up for him, or with him, because most of the counties are like, sure, we'll take, we went through that mapping process.
Yes, we did.
I said, if you're gonna put it, we want it where we want it.
Yeah.
Whatever, but then when it came down to it, we said, look, if you can keep it in Bears Ears, keep it in Bears Ears, so I was tickled when those guys, the governor said, we're not trading out, we're keeping our state sections there, and you can't kick us out.
Yeah.
So that was an incredible thing.
Yeah.
to do.
Yep, and exactly, because, I mean, we've been in the RFP process on both of those monuments for the last year and a half, and honestly, the state and the counties have kind of been cut out of the whole process.
Yeah, oh yeah, they don't wanna talk to the county.
Yeah, I mean, we're there, but it's kind of like we're beating on the outside door, telling them, hey, we want in, and
They're not
they say, well, we
listening
listen
to
to you, but
No.
I think this finally got their attention to say, hey, listen, you either come back with some plans that are gonna benefit us, or we're not gonna do this. And so anyway, for the governor and the legislature to finally sign off on that, I think finally got the BLM's attention, so. Yeah, so, I don't know, so, I guess this little tour staircase you're talking about, I'll bet that's a direct result.
Well, and it's the last straw, like it's the last chance that they have of getting any kind of
Yeah,
storm.
yeah. So, anyway, so that's a brief snippet of what we've been up to.
Okay.
Thank you very much, yeah.
Yeah. And it
Guys
was-
made the day we were here.
Yeah, exactly.
You're welcome anytime,
Well, thank you.
and if you need to get on the agenda, if there's something
Yeah.
particular, then,
Yeah.
Can I ask you one question about the
Yes.
solar plan?
oh,
The western solar plan, we went to a
Yeah.
public meeting over in Cedar, and it doesn't look good for Beaver County. Is there a way, I know we put our comments in and stuff, but
Mhm.
is this, or can we slow it down? Are we gonna be able to do anything? I know they're still, even though they get the plan, they're still probably 8-10 years away from doing anything,
Yeah.
depending on infrastructure.
Yeah.
But they've kinda got their sights set on along western Beaver County.
Yeah. You know, Dylan Hoyt and Clay Crozier have kind of been the two in our office that have been handling that, so I haven't seen what it does to
Okay.
Beaver County. I haven't seen that, but I can go look. Depending on how close it is, I know, I mean, the county can always object, to its implementation once they finally roll out, whenever they get that
Okay.
programmatic EIS done, Beaver County can object.
we've already done that, and they didn't care
So-
on the original one straight west of Minersville.
Yeah.
They do it anyway.
They did it anyway, they've sold the lease, they've done everything. They just have no way of getting power out of there.
Uh-huh.
There's no transmission line.
Right.
But I don't know if so years ago, as part of that, and as part of the Iron County water grant,
Uh-huh.
we have, a transmission corridor that we restricted, so there's no other transmission corridors. Is
Right.
that something that the county has authority to do on these solar things?
Potentially. I guess that brings to mind, there's also they're doing that EIS where they're redoing utility corridors, the section 538 utility corridors. But I don't think that affects Beaver County, I think that's just Iron County. They are putting in a new utility corridor that's gonna come up the railroad. So right now, the utility corridor kind of hugs the western side of the valley and goes down that whole Escalante Valley, and they're putting in another utility corridor that's actually gonna come up the railroad. And I know they haven't started building it, but I've talked to guys who have said they've already been approached about, you know, on the private pieces, kind of intermixed, about constructing that new transmission line. So, I don't know that that extends up the railroad into Beaver County or not.
It will.
Sure, it would have to.
But it would.
It would have to.
So maybe that's part of the plan, we'll put in these huge solar
Because I'm
farms.
sure it's gonna tie in all the solar in Iron County.
Knowing that that new transmission line is coming, but maybe that part of it hasn't been, because I've only seen where it affects Iron County, I never saw a map that actually extended it up for whatever reason, but that would make sense.
Because
Yeah,
Iron
it would have to,
It has
it would
to.
have to.
It has to
There's
cross
nowhere else
both
to go.
lines.
Right.
Right, so.
So
but I-
most everything, I think that, where is all that solar power in Iron County going? Does it hit that red butte line and go down?
I think it's all going south.
I don't know where it does.
But it'd
So,
have to,
but I
it'd have
don't-
to go in, because they can't tie, the way I understand it, just like ours, can't tie directly into that IPP line. It has to go to
Mhm.
Delta
Right,
as
right.
as a direct, as DC power, and then comes back AC power.
Right, right.
And so I would think that the solar, unless they can hit that red butte line that goes directly into, you know, the southern grid.
Right,
Because that
right.
red butte line comes down through Beaver County,
Uh-huh,
and then
yeah,
goes across,
yeah, I don't
and then it
know.
ends up in Red Butte, whatever that power station is.
That would
And
make
I don't
more
know if
sense.
they do maybe they do the AC/DC switch and hit IPP there, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that, but.
So our
You
big
guys
push
want
on solar has always been multiple use, you know, they
Right.
scream at us for multiple use to have forever.
Uh-huh.
We can't go block anything out that we run cows on, we have to allow the public on there, we have to allow multiple use. There's no multiple use anymore with solar, that's a one use. So now they're going to a broader picture, you know, well, we allow multiple use on a lot of our ground, just not that piece. So my argument is, what part of my allotment can I block the public off, if that's,
Right.
and they don't like to have those discussions, they have the textbook answer and that's what they stick to.
Right.
I don't know how we combat that, I think we have to be creative going forward though,
Well,
because they're coming for us.
Well, the other thing that we, you know, part of our conversation, is the county fought a tooth and nail when they were doing that EIS out here.
Mhm.
And it's 7 or 8 years old now, isn't it? But in the permitting, I don't know on BLM if we even do any of the permitting. But the conditional use permit in our mind is they have to allow for grazing underneath it. So if they put, you know, a solar company comes in and builds panels, they have to be high enough that they can graze sheep or something else underneath it.
Right.
So, we just don't know how hard our hands are tied.
Yeah, no, and that's a tough one, because, you know, you ask a cattle producer, it's like, well, all of my equipment, all my chicken pens, everything, like, we know how to run cattle. So to say, to tell a cattleman, like, well, you're in the sheep business now, you know, it's like, well, I have to, it's not like I can just like, oh, I'll just go buy sheep now, you know?
Right.
Because you guys know, it's like, no, it's completely convert.
Whole different process.
It's an entire different process, you know, you're asking me to enter into a completely different business model.
Right.
And two, then arguably, they may have to do an EIS to analyze the conversion from cows to sheep, which is another issue I thought I might put on your guys' radar, completely, that's another side note,
Well,
but.
that's what they're doing over in the comments.
Right, and so, I wanna get to that, but one thing you said, okay, so we need to think creatively on how we combat the solar on our BLM allotment. And I think one of the things that I've been looking at is, so the Taylor Grazing Act, and this is kind of, it's kind of a stretch, but I think we can use it. The Taylor Grazing Act says that the BLM cannot refuse to authorize a permit if the grazing unit serves as collateral for a bona fide loan, right? So that's in section 3 of the Taylor Grazing Act. So, two implications out of that. A,
We have to stay in debt.
right, yes,
We're good
they
at
also
that.
have to have a revolving line of credit, So then that way, when they say, well, we're not gonna re-up your permit, you say, well, my allotment is currently, all my AUMs are collateral with the FSA, or Western Ag, whoever you go with, right? And so, does that apply to reductions in AUMs? I don't know, that's never been argued, because you could say, well, all those AUMs are my security, I have 1,000 AUMs, the solar farm's gonna cut me to 750 AUMs, or whatever that number is, right? So that loss of 250, and that 250 is collateral with FSA, CSA, so FSA, now I'm undersecured on my loan, right? So I think you have to start using those arguments to say, well, Taylor Grazing Act says you can't refuse to re-up my permit. Does that apply if it's a re-up of the permit with a reduction in AUMs like that? If they're serving as the collateral, I don't know.
And what I don't understand is, you know, they're just like drawing the map around the monuments, like, they have their agenda, and I honestly think the reason that they're doing this is to get rid of coal, to get rid of grazing, to get rid of any local access to public lands, right?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm burning up your hour, or your day.
And I'll get off the hot seat as soon as you guys tell me to shut up, so.
But the economic impact of losing grazing families in rural Utah or western United States is huge. It's gonna be a huge impact. But they don't care. They absolutely, this administration or whoever is running.
Don't even understand that, I don't think.
They don't understand, but they don't care. We've had the conversation,
Yeah,
we said,
that's
that's
true.
not our problem.
Yeah.
But like you said, that this is going to affect whatever the credit like, you know, and everything's all tight, it's all a business model, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But what they're doing out here, the one they've already approved, is eliminating someone's winter range, which in our neck of the woods, winter range is more important than most of your summer.
You can find summer, but you can't find winter.
No, and it's tough, but I don't know how to fight it, so we need to
Yeah.
get our heads together.
Well, so one last issue, and then I'll get off your guys' agenda here. So, the other thing I'd say to kind of keep an eye out for, because I think we're gonna see this more and more and more. So on the Flat Canyon allotment, up on the Pavant, what happened was Sportsmen for Wildlife and the Wild Sheep Foundation pulled together about $750,000. They paid the previous sheep owner, the allotment owner, to waive his permit back to the forest without preference, right? When you buy an allotment, you have to, typically what happens is you pay the existing rancher, they waive the permit to the forest in favor of the buyer. They waived it to the forest without a preferred applicant, and so SFW and Wild Sheep Foundation didn't buy base property, they didn't buy the permitted livestock, which are the two things required to get the permit transfer. You have to have one of those two things. They didn't get either one. Then they waived it back without preference, which means they don't have a preference right. Those are the three things on a forest allotment that dictate the value. So they waived it without buying any of those three things. So it begs the question, so if SFW is paying ranchers $750,000 to start waiving permits, then what's in it for them? They didn't buy any of the things that you typically buy, so what did they buy? So what happened was,
Bighorn sheep from this.
so, exactly, so there's you go to the WRI website, and it talks about reintroducing the DWR has put in writing that they are working with the forest and sportsmen's groups to reintroduce bighorn sheep in that area. Forest Service denies all day long that that's what they're doing, and yet what they did is they're currently doing an EA to convert it to cows, reduce the available AUMs, make those AUMs now available for bighorn sheep, so they're putting the sheep producers out of business. The scary part is, Sportsmen for Wildlife submitted a comment letter. We have a copy of this. The comment letter says that Sportsmen for Wildlife supports conversion to cows because domestic sheep grazing on federal land is absolutely unacceptable in the state of Utah.
Yep.
That is
That's
the
a
condition.
non-paid quote.
That's from Don
USA,
Hay.
it says USA.
And the USA.
Specifically Beaver County. I
Yeah,
printed that
Beaver
comment,
County.
I got it now. So I didn't like-
Good, good.
Well, Don Hay was up that day, we saw it there.
Oh, I'm so pissed. I'm gonna punch him in the nose.
So, I think we're gonna see and so I think SFW is gonna keep trying to buy these, keep trying to do the same thing. So their goal is to put the sheep industry out of business in the state of Utah. And the cattlemen think, oh, well, why does that affect me? That's
You're
just the sheep.
next.
Exactly.
You're exactly
Because
right.
bison and cows have the same disease conflicts that sheep have with bighorn sheep. So, sheep industry is just smaller, so they're an easier target.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you guys obviously already know about that, but, that
Well, thanks for
is
fighting
one
your
that's
fight.
really
We
serious.
need to keep
So-
you guys funded and keep you in there.
Keep fighting.
Well, you're
Thanks,
welcome.
Dan.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Don't be
it.
a stranger.
I'll try not to
You're
be.
welcome every meeting.
Well, Get some sleep, sounds like too.
I will, so.
Not tomorrow.
No, but we
It's fun
try.
though.
You try.
It's
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah.
Enjoy them when they're little, because when they get about 15, 16, they're not that fun anymore.
Yes,
You were 15 once.
I wasn't that fun. I had fun, but I wasn't that fun.
Well, hey, thank you guys.
Thanks,
You guys have my
Dave.
number.
Thank
you.
See you guys.
All right, I think we need to finish up on the vehicle of the sheriff's office surplus. Did you move
Yeah,
something about that?
so there was 2 vehicles, they traded them in for like 18,000 apiece. They were Dodge Durango. She thought, so,
Okay, so I guess
Do you
that,
know what they got?
18,000 apiece.
I know, but like, what are the new vehicles?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, I don't know either.
well,
And that doesn't matter.
this is kind of after the fact, I guess we better ratify that
So we have
transaction.
the other 2?
Yes,
Yes.
Right?
yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that, we ratify the sheriff's, surplus office vehicles.
Okay,
I don't know how, but
That's the way to put it.
okay.
I will second it if in the future we do this before and not as a ratified. We need to make sure, somebody needs to be aware of what's going on, so.
okay. All right. Stephanie, would make sure that we communicate that, or have to communicate that to them, or someone.
Someone at
Did
Have
they
you?
deal with Janet, or did they deal with Ginger? Who did they?
They told her.
After the fact.
So we have a new sheriff, maybe there's some communication issues.
Yeah, I'll have a
Procedures.
conversation with
Mr.
him.
Pearson, have a conversation. All right, all in favor of that? I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Most, or, yeah,
Aye.
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 Okay.
However that works.
Yes, aye, they unanimous, all right, perfect, all right, good. Any old business?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
Should have made some notes.
Legislation, we've had quite a few legislation conversations already, so
Yeah.
is there anything else that's
Just where,
Major?
this is the
last week?
6th week, we got one more week. There's a lot of things moving with, that UAC in general's following. Most of the stuff I found out yesterday. The final funding priority list comes out Thursday, which I knew that was coming, I just wasn't thinking about it, but, blows my mind.
Fast, isn't it?
The amount of money they're working with, I can't remember what it was, $218 billion in surplus right now, just, so that'll go to one-time funding. Which, you know, I'm kind of like, God, I've been pleading poverty all year. So I'm hoping that we'll get, and I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I testified last Friday at Cowboy Caucus, the broadband thing,
Yep.
you know, so I
I did know that.
presented on that. I'm hoping that we'll get, they were only asking like $750,000, I'm
Yeah.
hoping we're gonna get that.
Alright.
Been working really hard on the agri-park funding,
Mhm.
because they asked for, I think they asked for 18 million, I can't remember. They're hoping to get 10, and it's a one-time funding, so I'm hoping we get that. Been helping, Bruce Adams, they're trying to build a hospital, they got a 70-year-old hospital in Monticello. I think I talked to you about that,
Yep.
didn't I? The governor promised, because I went out this summer, or, well, this fall, met with the governor before he got his budget done, with Bruce Adams and Leland, and I can't remember who else was in, a handful of us. Governor really wants to get that hospital built, this is their one chance. They needed 30 million, we've got about 10 or 15 promised, we just gotta get that last little bit, and that's just one time. And actually, they just want it as a loan, but they'll put that money in one of those other accounts, they'll pay it off. Yeah, one thing, anyway. Most everything's looking good. We did our jail funding last year, you know, the contracting, and so this year they're finishing the COP, which also affects us, the condition of probation inmates. So that also helps us, but they're pretty sure they're gonna get that all locked down. I spoke to to Darren on several times on the railroad fencing. Do you know how far south they've gone?
They went 3 miles.
And is that the end of it?
That's what they had funded.
Okay.
Then I did talk to Adrian again, and he's acted like they can get more funding this year
Yeah.
and then continue.
Because they only had half, and he said, we've got that much more going forward. The problem that I've got right now is they went like to Kaufman's, and they didn't finish the corner right
Yeah.
there. And so it's like a funnel for all the counties,
yeah.
just, so they're supposed to work on that too, if they can't get it.
And it was only another half mile of the crossing there. And
I know, I don't know why they, but are they hauling all that to the landfill now?
I don't know, I
I
saw
thought they had-
Rollins were in there yesterday loading it, and I don't know where,
Yeah,
they
got
couldn't
the
have went.
side dumps. and
They did go to
moved.
landfill yesterday, because it was closed. So I don't know where they took it.
Maybe they went to Rollins.
They might have went to Rollins'
That's
landfill.
theirs.
What?
They don't go find their trash. Just keep
No,
going.
I was just saying, they didn't dump this stuff on your trash.
No,
This
it
is the
was
old,
truckloads.
yeah, semi loads of
I'll find out
barbed wire and
where
posts
they
and
went.
stuff. I thought they were gonna bury them where they picked them up, they'd been a lot better off.
I'll find out where they go.
Okay. Trying to think anything else. I did not talk to, I had 2 seconds because the other day when I got back, and so I don't know.
We can get us that email every week, so.
Yeah. Anything else you guys are watching?
I don't think so. For sure. You have anything else?
The water bills, they all make me nervous. President Adams introduced the water bill, it's gonna pass, nobody goes against the president, we know that.
Well, it's him and Mike Schultz.
Yeah,
The speaker, so it's like, okay, whatever you want.
To me, it looks like they're fighting over about 4 buckets of water, and there's 92 people fighting over them, but I think it's a good idea, and I think it'll be fine, but the funding on that one, I didn't understand.
I don't either.
$3 million
Ongoing.
ongoing, $3 million one time, $1 million ongoing.
Casey's is the one that makes me nervous. Every
And that
time
one
I
went
see
through the
Casey's,
second reading the other day. The studies, as long as we're involved in the studies going forward, like, and they'll listen to us, I'll be okay with that.
What makes me really nervous is the parts that I've seen, he's got 300 pages
Yeah.
that he's willing to whittle. And I'm just like, yeah, but here's the thing, is the stuff he wants is buried.
Down in
And so
about
he'll
page
whittle all the stuff that
295.
doesn't make, and so by the time you get through arguing with him, you're just like, just do it.
Just get it over.
So he's gonna get it done no matter what.
Oh, it went through pretty fast on that.
So he's got the
Second.
3rd reading, he'll have to finish the 3rd reading, and then who's the Senate sponsor? Isn't it,
I can't remember. He's the only one that's even spoke on it.
yeah, I know, but he's got a Senate sponsor. I don't think
Yeah.
it's Sandal.
I don't think it was Sandal.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm just hoping that we got our head down and we don't get blindsided by something.
Good.
I haven't seen anything, but that week I was gone, they were saying there was like 200 rebuilt computers, so,
At the last minute.
yeah.
I just have one more thing for Vaughn. If, at the weed board meeting the other day, they did ask about the county ordinance. We do have a county ordinance that says when we can go into people's property to spray the noxious weeds.
You know, it's been a long time since I looked at our county weed ordinance, so I can
Okay.
dig into it if you'd like.
If you can look at it and just see what we have, and then send it to myself, Corey, and Cole.
Absolutely.
And if it's what it needs to say, if not, we may have to.
But your memory is that the ordinance in emergencies gives us the right to go in and spray when people aren't taking care of their weeds.
No, I've never read it.
Never met
That's
it.
what they.
That's what they're saying?
That's what they said.
Well, let's double check it, and I'll get you
Okay.
a copy of the ordinance so you can read for yourself.
Perfect. I'm sure it's there, I'm sure we have one, it's just.
It may be part of a nuisance ordinance, right, so I'll look in a couple of places.
There's definitely some people want to do it.
Yes. Okay, that's all I have.
So
Okay.
do we have a closed session?
No.
Just wondered if we should do something.
Steph, anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right, meeting is adjourned.
See you guys at planning and zoning tonight? You gonna come?
Thank you for having us.
Yep.
Planning and zoning? All right.
Yep.
See you guys, thank you.
Just so you know, it'll be full of cars for tonight because it's the D-step review.
So I better come early to get a parking spot.
What's going on?
D-step review.
Oh.
They bring in all the little dancers from all
Oh,
over.
yeah, I gotta come.
Kids are on the D-step.
Oh, you'll be in trouble if you don't. They have a dad.
Why were you saying, was something going on here tonight?
Yeah,
Oh, planning and zoning.
So are they doing the dad dance with the D-step review?
I'm not down.
Yes, you are.
Haven't heard any more from our.
You did your ring around the song grass and stuff?
Remember, there was a little bit of a waiting period before they,
Oh, now you turn it on.
there's a little bit of a waiting period before they file. Seems like it was 120 days or something like that.
No, I think it's almost back.
Well, look, don't get your hopes up. I don't want to breed a false sense of optimism.
Well, I don't really care what we do, still be done.
Get her over.
Yeah, move away.
But I don't want, they passed on the settlement, I'm just going to give them.
My guess is we probably dove into it, and the attorney says you don't have to be going now.
Well, that'd be great. I just don't want you to think that it's not true.
Right.
We attempted in good faith to resolve. We pulled our hands out of your right. They are interested, they just want the money.
This is the,
That's a Blackford judge.
okay.
Well, that's phenomenal.
I don't have that many ginger.
Way to go.
You're supposed to go to Ginger.
You gonna present that ceremony?
So he.
He didn't want anything to do.
He didn't want,
It's too bad.
he didn't want anything. So they're actually
Is
doing
this
a
Saturday?
family, yeah, they're actually doing a family dinner.
There we go. So we'll leave it together.
One on Saturday.
And my
Oh,
wife,
this one is.
wife's invited,
Yeah.
is my wife invited?
No, sorry.
This one.
I know that one.
They didn't even, like, we're not letting them in extra. I'm sorry.
You're good.
And Brad, I'm sorry, Commissioner Yardley?
Brandon's fine.
Brandon's fine.
I'm just calling.
Bradshaw get with you and everything's good?
Yes.
All good?
Yep. Yeah, he was,
He was okay with that.
That's fine.
he was good. And he said he will be there, and that's the request for somebody to be there, by the state of which,
Yeah, he is going over at least more if there's
Once a month is all?
at least.
Oh, I thought he was going once a week.
He said he will